$2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Or if you need window treatments, it's Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 or go to advancedwindowsusa.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COIN25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COIN25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COIN25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
IVC is celebrating 20 years providing quality service in Utah. You've probably heard their saying by now, life starts when the pain stops. IVC is the most trusted interventional and vein center in the state, and they've been voted Best of Utah Valley 10 years running. The 7 physicians at IVC provide state-of-the-art, comprehensive vein care with many years of experience. The team at IVC takes the time to get to know you and your veins so you're comfortable with the right diagnosis and the right treatment. Patients are like family at IVC. You've also heard many radio ads over the years with real people describing how IVC has dramatically improved their quality of life by eliminating the pain and discomfort caused by varicose veins. Well, what are you waiting for? Don't let vein disease slow you down even one more day, because life starts when the pain stops. Visit ivein.com today to set up a free screening. That's ivein.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. I think it's Heather Kelly over there in the traffic center.
And we're looking pretty good right now on most of the major freeways across the Wasatch Front. No delays on I-15, the East or West Side Belt Routes, 201 freeway. We do have quite a bit of congestion, though, on Bangerter Highway. This is eastbound as you make your way from 3600 West all the way over to 2700 West. It's due to construction. You're down to just 2 lanes heading eastbound toward I-15. Other than that, you shouldn't have too many problems because we don't have any accidents reported. Are you facing wage garnishments and threats from the IRS? Don't face the IRS alone. Call Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures are going to reach 100 degrees this afternoon, continue with a high of 103 tomorrow, 100 again on Wednesday, and then even upper 90s that'll linger with us through the end of the week and maybe into the beginning of next week. At least we've got some cleaner air to deal with this morning, but Salt Lake City this hour, 82 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes, reminding you to listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
A lot of people talking today, Dave, about what's happening on the stock market. Tim was reporting all morning long that there's it's a major sell-off this morning. The Dow down right now almost 1,100 points. And we also are getting word here that if you're invested with Schwab or Fidelity, you may be experiencing some sort of an outage as you try to log onto your accounts this morning. We're also checking into that.
Yeah, the Dow's at 38,600 and change. Calls growing, coming from Wharton's Jeremy Siegel, calling for an emergency Fed rate cut. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Also, on the political front this morning, we're hearing there's a strong chance that Kamala Harris could announce her vice presidential pick today. We do know that yesterday she met with 3 top contenders in Washington, D.C. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
The only question I have is which swing state of those 3 does she need the most? Does she need Arizona? Does she need Pennsylvania? Which one does she need? That's who I think she'll choose for her VP.
Countdown to...
It's been a decade-long mystery in the making. Question has been asked, why a dead baby bear just showed up in the middle of Central Park in New York City?
Very unusual. I've never seen a bear. I mean, I've lived in New York City all my life. I mean, I've never seen a bear.
More so, I'm wondering how it got here. I've never seen a bear here before.
Super, super odd story. You'll never guess who cracked the case. Presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He cracked it because he did it.
Yeah, he did it. You got to stick around and hear this story of the Roadkill bear, an old beat-up bicycle in the back of RFK Jr.'s van, and his drunk friends.
Launch countdown 1.
Also, more big news today. Dave should know who the winner is in the 2nd Congressional District. This has been a mystery for the last couple of months. Month and a half or so since the Republicans went to the polls to vote who they wanted their candidate to be on the November ballot. So far, we do know that the recount has not, as of right now, changed that Malloy is ahead, Celeste Malloy. But we're still waiting on Iron and Washington counties in southern Utah to report their results. I know you've been upstairs in the conference room, Dave, crunching numbers as well. To see if the recount's going to move the needle for Jenkins.
Can you believe it's been since June 25th? June 25th, we still don't know who the victor is. Celeste Malloy, Representative Malloy, has claimed victory, but it's still not official.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The Launch.
Commence.
Utah's top political story. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
The Jenkins-Malloy recount is winding down, and we should know by close of business today, right around 5 o'clock this afternoon, if the results are made public in Washington County and Iron County by 5 o'clock. Might be a little bit after that. Who the winner is, Dave?
Adam Small joins us right now. And Adam, why should we know today? Why is today finally the day we should know?
So it is state law. State has a lot of different rules for how to run a recount election specifically. The rule is from the day that the presumed loser, Colby Jenkins, asks for a recount, you have 7 days. So today is the 7th day of the recount. So by state law, by 5 o'clock tonight, all 13 counties need to report their recount results to the Lieutenant Governor's office, who's then expected to certify those results tomorrow. Okay,
so just take Salt Lake County, for example, Adam, if you don't mind. Those results are already in, right? And it looks like from the recount results that Celeste Malloy went up by 1 vote. Is that correct? Just in Salt Lake County.
So I'm looking at Salt Lake County. The problem is if you look on the election results website, they don't give the previous counts from the first
so it's hard to do the math.
So it's hard to do the math. But
okay.
As I've gone over Salt Lake, Davis, all these other counties that have reported, they either look the same, at least from my recollection. Like Salt Lake, I look at those numbers roughly like 99.44 to 73.87. That looks pretty well similar.
Okay, so at this point, from your analysis, it does appear that Jenkins is still behind Malloy, at least from what we know so far. But again, we don't have the results yet from Iron or Washington counties in southern Utah.
Right, exactly. And those are going to be 2 of the biggest chunks, too. But yes, looking at the 11 counties that have reported, it does look like the same outcome. But again, it is important to know, like you mentioned, Washington County has the biggest chunk of voters in this district, and that was a district that Colby Jenkins dominated. So I imagine I mean, we're talking about a 214 vote difference between these two. From where I'm looking now, it's looking like it's going to be the same result. But again, we do have to get those two county vote totals.
Right.
Adam Small, thank you for joining us. KSL News Radio reporter has been following this. And again, today we have to know, because that's what state law requires, is that today is the last day when all the ballots have to be finalized.
You've been calculating some numbers, Dave. I saw you pull out the calculator upstairs before I left the conference room after our morning meeting. And what did you find? Well,
there's a few different things going on. Now, number one, I saw this from State Senator Todd Weiler. He'd been tweeting out, and he said, it was +2 in this county and -1 in that. But essentially, it was over the three large counties. Colby Jenkins had gained 2 votes. But then something kind of happened in Tooele County, and this is where the chaos started kind of coming out. And it all revolves around adjudicated ballots. And those are ballots that aren't marked clearly. So if a ballot isn't very, very clear of who was voting, they need to maybe look at it. Those adjudicated ballots, well, in Tooele County, there were 55 adjudicated ballots that 37 of them went to Jenkins and then 18 for Malloy. So it was like a +19 for Jenkins because of these, just in Tooele County. They're trying to figure out why in the world they had 55 ballots that weren't being read properly by the machines. And Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson said, listen, we're going to figure this out. And if the computers can't figure it out, then I've instructed everyone to count them and read them by hand.
So we'll continue to get to the bottom of that today, not only during our show, but throughout the day right here on KSL News Radio with our team of reporters and producers, reporters like Adam Small. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us track the latest results in the Republican primary recount in the 2nd Congressional District. Straight ahead, let's get political insider and KSL at Night host Adam Gardner on the phone to ask how often it is that recounts really shift election results. He's up next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
You start your mornings in it. Breakfast. Bathe your kids in it. Talk, laugh, and play in it. Ooh. But when it comes to paying for your kids' college with it, you don't even consider it. It's your home. Tap into it with HomeTap. Tap into the money you already have with no monthly payments. Learn more about funding and education and so much more at HomeTap.com.
The gold medal for morning news and traffic updates. Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon from 5 to 9. Topping the podium for talk shows about Utah's most pressing stories. Dave and Dujanovic at 9 and Boyd Matheson at 1. And setting a new world record for news stories and his Minute of News. Jeff Kaplan from 3 to 7. We're ready for Salt Lake City 2034 at KSL News Radio.
Hey Utah! When it comes to guiding the growth of our state, you buzzed in with your comments, and we listened to what you had to say. Your feedback on the future of Utah's housing, water, transportation, and open space will continue to help our leaders make important policy decisions, preserving and improving our high quality of life in meaningful ways for years to come. So, thanks for speaking up. Learn more about our state's future at guidingourgrowth.utah.gov.
It's prime camping season, and Motorsportsland RV Centers are offering huge savings on your next RV during our model year clearance event. We've got to make room for incoming 25s, and previous year models are at huge discounts. Save tens of thousands and start a new adventure in comfort and style. We have excellent payment options, including zero-down financing as well as special event interest rates. At Motorsportsland RV Centers, we provide a hassle-free and low-pressure buying experience. We aren't like other dealers that advertise fake prices and then charge thousands for things that should already be included. If you sit down to make a deal and see an extra charge for freight, prep, orientation, or other creative fees or packages, you gotta get out of there and come to a Motorsportsland RV Center in Salt Lake, Mill Creek, or Spanish Fork. Save thousands during Motorsportsland's Model Year Clearance event and get the RV of your dreams today. Adventure awaits.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Do you love your house and hate the thought of assisted living? Whether you're caring for a loved one in your home right now or planning to live independently in the years ahead, call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. They can completely remodel your old bathroom in just 3 days and back up their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. If all you need is a new walk-in tub or easy entry shower to make your life easier, they could do just that for you. Avoid the hassle and stress of remodeling. Check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Need a ride? Call Utah Transit Authority's referral line. This dedicated phone number is a resource created specifically for individuals with disabilities, aging adults over the age of 60, and veterans who need temporary assistance finding specialized transportation solutions. Simply give us a call at 801-287-2870. Leave your name and phone number, and a UTA representative will get back to you soon. If you're facing ongoing day-to-day transportation challenges, the UTA referral line is here to help. From medical appointments to the grocery store, we're here to get you where you need to go. Please call 801-287-2870. This dedicated phone number is a resource created specifically for individuals with disabilities, aging adults over the age of 60, and veterans who need temporary assistance finding specialized transportation solutions. 801-287-2870. That's 801-287-2870.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, the Dow has slid more than 1,000 points with fears of U.S. economic downturn sparking major global sell-offs. Second, multiple search and rescue operations happened on Utah waters and trails over the weekend, including one that has turned into a recovery mission at Willard. And third, a drone operator is being praised for jumping into action and helping rescuers locate and save a family of 7, including 2 infants, from their sinking boat on Utah Lake. We're going to look for a high today of 100 degrees, and right now in Salt Lake City, it's 82. Let's get you back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic, Utah's top political story. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
So even based on the information that you just shared with us, Dave, a few minutes ago with the Tooele County recount numbers in the 2nd Congressional District, and again, we're talking about the primary election and the Republican primary for the 2nd Congressional District between Celeste Malloy and Colby Jenkins. Even with the Tooele County recount, remind us how many extra votes from your analysis it looks like Colby Jenkins might have picked up.
It looks like he may have picked up another 19 votes in Tooele County, but he's down 215. So you have to make sure, you're not just, 20 here or 15 there. She only needs to win by 1. So even that 20 votes.
And she's ahead. She went into this ahead.
Yeah, Celeste Malloy, went in up 215 votes.
Now, we're still awaiting the results from Washington County and Iron County. We expect those to be in by close of business today at 5 o'clock. But we want to bring on Adam Gardner, KSL at Night host and also political insider, to walk us through what your thoughts are on this, Adam. Dave and I sat down. We actually had a call this morning with Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman. She was very gracious before 8 o'clock to give us a call back. And she said something to the effect that with their recount in Salt Lake County, now this is just Salt Lake County, they added an additional 5 votes, and we asked her why, and she said, well, as they went back through those, 4 were related to signatures. They were able to verify the signatures matched, and 1 was counted. It was just they looked at it, and it looked like it was originally counted as a late postmark, but the closer they looked at it, they realized it was I learned a new term today. The ball stamp showed that it actually met the deadline when it hit the post office. So that one ended up being counted. So it sounds like things can happen like this in a recount. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think you guys summed it up pretty well. In fact, in my personal opinion, this race has been over for a month. I think it's great. I'm glad that Colby Jenkins asked for a recount. That's the law. That's how it should be. With technology so advanced, we're recounting the same ballots we were counting before. The only difference here is that software issue with ES and S that the Lieutenant Governor's office has kind of taken care of, and they met with both campaigns and sent a staffer to kind of supervise Tooele and Washington County to make sure they got everything right. But in Washington County, we're only hearing that there's about 60 votes that are affected by that ES and S. I suspect that Colby Jenkins will get a majority of those, and I think that's great for him. And Tooele, he got a majority of those, but it still didn't matter. As Dave was saying, there was 55 adjudicated ballots according to the Lieutenant Governor. 37 of them went for Jenkins and 18 went for Malloy. I think we're going to see similar numbers in Washington County. Iron County looks great for Celeste. If anything, they're probably going to be neck and neck, and they're going to be recounting the same ballots over and over. I really don't see this race changing. I think at the close of business, we're going to see Celeste Malloy still the victor here.
Maybe you can walk us through a little bit of this. The ES&S software that's being used in these counties, and that stands for the election system and software. So it's the software that these counties are using. What is the problem with this software? The questions that the Lieutenant Governor is asking.
So, from my understanding, it's that the numbers didn't match up of what they had counted, what they had counted versus what they had in their vaults, and so their sheets were not balancing, and so they had to figure out which votes or ballots that they had in their vaults in their counting room that were not matching up with the software. They found out what those were, and it equaled about 55 ballots. So Washington County is having the same problem. And to be honest with you, to be fair, this is a problem. You can't have a software system that messes up counting, messes up your ballot being counted on Election Day. That's a problem. I hope that we're going to see some sort of audit happen on this company, and that they're going to take care of this problem, because we can't have this happen come Election Day this November.
Well, I'm looking at the Deseret News report on this, Adam, and Dave as well, and they said that it was Tooele and Washington counties. And to be clear, in our conversation with Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman this morning, she said that they don't use this same system. So perhaps counties use different systems when counting votes. But these two counties, Tooele and Washington counties, according to the D News, attempted to update the tally recorded by the vote counting equipment, and they were met with an error message. And as you pointed out, Adam, the adjudicated ballots were not reflected in the total results, and we saw late last week and certainly over the weekend, this was being addressed by the Lieutenant Governor's office, which is ultimately, they're kind of like the end all when it comes to elections. Now, the elections are, though, run and tallied by each county, right?
Yeah, that's right. And in fact, I have to give real props to Tooele and Washington County, to their respective county clerks, because they discovered this problem before the software company did. And so when they called the lieutenant governor's office and the software company and mentioned it, they ran a check through their system and found the errors. So I have to give real props. I'm glad we're electing really effective county clerks across this district to make sure that everything's make sure that my vote's counted and that your vote's counted. And I think they've done a really good job here.
But just to be clear, over the thousands that, well over 100,000 votes that have been cast across the state, how many votes are we talking about? Like, if the numbers are off, it was 55 votes in Tooele. In total, this aberration or this miscalculation, how many votes are we talking about?
About 105. So we're talking 105 votes. Celeste was up by 214 votes. It's not enough to make a difference in the election, but it's still a big deal, and I'm glad that we found it, and I'm glad we went through this process. And the real issue here, and I think that the Jenkins campaign is kind of really putting all of their eggs in the lawsuit basket to make sure that these I'm going to call them illegal, because according to the state code, state election law, they're illegal. That these past postmarked ballots, that's what they're really going after, because they know that there's enough volume that it could make a difference in this election. So that's what they're really pushing for. The recount, I think, buys them time.
Well, I don't know what you said the terminology is, but I wanted to say that, there's just nothing really nefarious with that went on with these ballots. People put them in the mail, and then they went over to Las Vegas to get postmarked, and a lot of people put them in the mail probably a little later than they now they wish they would have put them in earlier. They didn't realize that they were going to, send them over to Vegas before they got postmarked. So there was a delay in the postmark. And that's really what the Jenkins campaign has been focused on with this lawsuit, right, Adam? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And in fact, this postmark issue has been going on for a while now. Deseret News reported on this in 2016. They said that, rural voters need to understand, this is from state election officials and county election officials, that just because you mail the day before doesn't mean your ballot's going to be postmarked. So we've known about this problem for a long time. They have to go through Las Vegas. Before Las Vegas, they were sorted in Provo, which still took a day in a lot of cases. And so this problem has been going on for a while. Either the legislature can address it, or we can get a new sorting center in southern Utah, which is unlikely. Otherwise, things are going to stay the same, and rural voters need to know that they need to mail the weekend before, probably.
Adam Gardner, thank you for joining us. KSL at Night host, thank you. Thanks, Adam.
And I also want to let our listeners know that our producers are reaching out to the software company to see if they can join the show sometime today or in the next several days.
But as he said, there's about 105 total ballots that are in question of 107,000 votes that were cast. So this is a very small number, but it's still important to make sure to figure out why were there errors in the first place.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a look at our top stories this half hour. The Alpine School District is defending their proposed property increase, saying that the increase will allow them to receive additional funding from the state.
So there is a danger of falling below the threshold that the state legislature has authorized for that guaranteed funding.
Director of Communications Rich Stoll says the district has been aggressively paying back their bonds, resulting in lower taxes overall for the community. This would allow funds normally used to pay off bonds to instead go towards the building of a new high school out west. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Florida's Gulf Coast has endured its second direct hit from a hurricane in less than a year. ABC's Jim Ryan says Hurricane Debbie made landfall just after sunrise this morning.
Hurricane Debbie followed a course very similar to Hurricane Idalia in August of last year. Anna Smirnios had just opened Bubsy's Bait and Tackle shop in Cedar Key when Idalia struck, and this time she had a plan.
Unload the whole shop and take it to higher ground and then hope for the best.
Now she'll have to wait until the storm passes to see what's left of Bubsy's.
Heartbreaking, just the not knowing.
The only consolation is that Debbie was a Category 1 hurricane as opposed to Idalia's Cat 3 status. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment. Tough day on the markets for the third straight day of trading. We are down and off by 850 points right now. That is 2 full percent. The S&P is down 128, 2.4%. The Nasdaq is off 2 3/4% with a loss of 465. Believe it or not, that is still much better than it was earlier this morning when the markets first opened. Coming up, some major heat this week. We'll check that forecast next. Triple digits expected again this afternoon. KSL News Time, 9:32.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
We have some very exciting news to give you. Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And Dave, you can speak from experience. You had some really good luck with them in the past.
Yeah, they installed my furnace years ago. They've been servicing it as well, and it has been humming along and working beautifully.
And now, of course, we know Master Electrical Service. They've been your trusted source for all your electrical needs, between your EV chargers and your generators, the recessed lighting. Well, now they can also help you with your HVAC.
Yeah, because they've joined Mountain Home Services. It's one-stop shopping. They'll help you with your HVAC, heating and air, your plumbing, all with that upfront pricing guarantee.
Of course, that means no hidden fees, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, and the price they quote you up front is the price you pay when the job is done.
Yeah, check them out, Mountain Home Services. You can find their website at mountainhomeutah.com. That's mountainhomeutah.com.
Or give them a call, 801-543-2222. Again, 801-543-2222.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
Check out AMCO's multiple financing options so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
It's time for Rush Hour Rivals. In one corner is a helmet-donning bicyclist. In the other corner is a seatbelt-wearing driver. Can the driver keep a 3-foot distance on the road? Can the cyclist ride in the bike lane and wear reflective gear? Who will win?
I'm fine to ride in the bike lane and wear reflective gear.
Yeah, and I can easily keep a 3-foot distance.
So, not rivals at all?
Nah.
Meet in the middle so your paths don't. A message from the Utah Department of Public Safety.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. How we doing out there, Heather?
Well, we're doing okay, Tim. We did have a crash northbound I-15 in Pleasant Grove. It had been blocking 2 right lanes, but it was cleaned up very quickly, so now all the traffic is back to freeway speeds. That happened over about a 15-minute period. And then there was also a crash on the west side belt. This was northbound I-215 right near the 201 freeway. That was on the right shoulder. It never caused delays, and it is now gone as well. For a limited time, enjoy no payments for the first 90 days when you finance your new vehicle with America First Credit Union. Head to americafirst.com to apply today. Equal Opportunity Lender. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Going to be hot this week. Temperatures back in the hundreds today, triple digits today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, dropping down to 98 degrees by Thursday. The warmest of the days coming tomorrow if everything pans out. It'll be 103. We're looking at 100 for a high this afternoon, actually 101. And right now in Salt Lake City, it's 84 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, amidst all of the other news that we're tracking this morning in the 2nd Congressional District, also watching what's going on with the Dow because it has been falling today. We're going to have more on that in the 10 o'clock hour. We now have also an answer to a 10-year mystery in the making in New York City. It got answered by presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So I want to rewind 10 years, and let's listen to NBC New York, who reported on a just strange situation in Central Park where they found a dead baby bear that was found in Central Park. Now, this takes you back, 10 years ago to 2014.
The discovery of a black bear by a dog walker just a few feet from Central Park's main jogging and bike path today was alarming and strange, especially for New Yorkers like Helen Zokanich, who's come here almost every day for decades. How unusual is that?
Very unusual. I've never seen a bear. I mean, I've lived in New York City all my life. I mean, I've never seen a bear.
More so, I'm wondering how it got here. I've never seen a bear here before.
How did it get there? That is really the story. Because you can find anything in Central Park. You just don't find bears. Bears don't live there. That's what's made this story so fascinating. It's a baby bear. There's no mama bear. And when I say a baby bear, it really is a small little cub, 2 or 3 feet long, just lying there in Central Park.
So sad.
So everyone's scratching their head trying to figure out what happened. Well, nobody knew it happened. Police had done the investigation, couldn't crack it. And then out of the blue, RFK Jr., presidential candidate, shares this story on social media. He's chatting it up with Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr, this isn't like hardcore investigative Lester Holt, 60 Minutes. He's just sitting down at Roseanne Barr's table, telling her a story, and he spills the beans.
A woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. And you can do that in New York City. You can get a bear tag for a roadkill bear.
Can we back this up just a minute? That was hard to hear. So he's sitting at the table with Roseanne Barr recently.
Uh-huh.
And he says he sees a bear, a baby bear that's dead in the road.
Yeah,
somebody else had hit it.
He claims that somebody else hit it. A lady in front of him hits the bear. Bear's dead, sitting on the side of the road.
Still weird that a bear's in New York City. Okay.
This is apparently a little bit more rural New York. So this isn't happening. Yeah.
So the story just layers. It's like an onion.
Lots of because Debbie, that day he was going hawking, falconry. He and his buddies were going out hunting with falcons.
Okay.
And this is where the bear apparently gets hit by a vehicle sitting on the side of the road. He goes and scoops it up because he's thinking, I'm gonna take the bear. I'm gonna skin it.
That's what he
and
said.
I'm gonna eat the meat.
Harvest the meat.
Harvest the meat.
Who does that? I just know.
Well, RFK Jr. apparently. Well,
do people just do that?
Okay,
is that just a thing?
That's a great question,
Because I saw a deceased deer on the side of the road on Saturday on my way to the gym. Do you think I whipped over in the RAV4 and started hauling them? No, I cried. I cried, and I was like, I feel so sorry for
I do that with dead raccoons.
Bambi and the person who hit the deer. I hope everybody was okay. I don't think about shuttling this massive thing into the back of my, and then I'm always afraid they're really still alive when you get them in there. Like, how do I know? I didn't take its pulse. Okay, so let's go back to RFK. Running for president, sits down and admits this to Roseanne Barr. This story is just so wild. And then what's the plan, Dave?
Okay,
what happens after that?
Again, as I'd said, the plan for the day was to go hawking. They're going to go hunting with hawks. So they go out. He's like, we're having a great day. It goes a little longer. Remember, this dead bear is sitting in his van the entire time.
Ooh.
So they're out hawking all day. And then he has a dinner appointment in New York City. So he goes into the city. Bear's still sitting in the van during this. And dinner runs late. And they're like, well, now I've got this dead bear in my van just, sitting.
Rotting.
Okay, I was trying to think of a nicer way
right?
that it's rotting.
I don't know what the shelf life is of meat, but oh my goodness.
It's definitely rotting in his in his van. So they get done with dinner, and then he and his friends, who he basically said they've been drinking. So he and his drunk friends, they hatch a plan.
There had been a series of bicycle accidents in New York. They had just put in the bike lanes, and a couple of people had gotten killed, and it was every day, and people had gotten badly injured. Every day it was in the press. And so I thought, I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea. And I said, well, I had an old bike in my car that somebody asked me to get rid of it. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike.
So he says, he and his drunk buddies get together. He said, oh yeah, we had a lot of bike accidents in Central Park. He's like, it was in all the news, lots of bike accidents. So we're going to stage an accident as if a bike crashed into this bear and killed the bear. He had a bike sitting in the back of his van along with the bear. They're hatching this plan together as like, well, I've got a bike in the back of my van.
So it's going to be like a bike v. bear accident?
That's exactly what they were trying to show. So they lay the bike down, and then they set the bear on top of the bike.
Uh-huh.
Like,
it's obvious to police when they get to the scene, right?
This is probably not what happened.
This is not what happened. Here's a report from CBS New York.
In a popular section of Central Park, an unusual crime scene.
We were about over here.
Florence Slatkin says she was walking her dog this morning when she saw something furry underneath the bushes. Police say the 3-foot-long black bear cub had stab and slash wounds and appears to have been dumped there. Adding to the mystery, Slatkin says the baby bear was lying on top of this bicycle, which police confiscated as evidence.
The bicycle was under the bushes. Part of the bicycle was sticking out, and that's what we saw. And then when we looked closer, we could see something on the back wheel, just laying on the back wheel.
Well, now they're saying the bear has stab wounds.
Yeah.
Hey, this is so weird.
So weird. It's so weird. And then this was posted by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on his social media. This was not cracked by anybody. This was not some deep investigation, uncover. He volunteers this information just because he wants the world to know that he and his drunk buddies staged a bearicide.
The story had gone away. I mean, obviously, it's 10 years ago. People have probably long since forgotten about the bike v. bear accident crash staged now that we know in Central Park. I think Roadkill should be left alone.
That seems like a very reasonable comment.
I mean, I don't, like I said,
It seems reasonable.
I don't yank the RAV4 over to the side of the road and hope I have enough room in the back seat to stuff a deer or a bear. There's no way. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it. Is this something people do?
Debbie, we have laws in place here in Utah about what you can and can't do with roadkill.
Well, I want to hear what those are straight ahead. We're also going to take live phone calls. Do you agree with me? I will call in a baby deer or a bear that's on the side of the road, but I will not touch it. 801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. We'll take your live phone call straight ahead, and then Dave will walk us through the Utah code when it comes to roadkill.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Master Electrical Services, home of the upfront pricing guarantee.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, Vice President Kamala Harris set to pick her running mate as early as tomorrow. Second, the Alpine School District is explaining why they want a property tax increase, saying the increase will allow them to receive additional funding from the state. And third, a new study shows pollution from wildfire smoke can actually increase the risk of getting dementia. We're going to look for a high today of 101. More triple digits tomorrow and Wednesday. But right now in Salt Lake City, it's 84. Let's get you back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
David Dujanovic.
Such a bizarre story out of New York where a mystery has been solved over this dead bear cub that was found in Central Park 10 years ago. And now it appears that presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is saying he scooped up this dead bear. It was roadkill. Somebody else had run over it off the side of the road, puts it in the back of his van, drives it around for several hours.
All day.
He's going to skin it.
He's going to skin it. He's going to harvest the meat.
And then thinks,
so weird.
And then has a change of heart or change of plans. And he and his buddies drive to Central Park in New York and stage a bike accident. Like you said, put the bear on top of the bike or the bear on the bike or what?
Yeah. They thought it would be funny. He and his drunk friends, this is his words, not mine. He and his buddies that had been drinking, hatched this plan because in the news they had had a bunch of stories about pedestrians being hit by bicycles and like people were dying. This was happening in New York. He's like, oh, totally plausible that a bike could hit a bear cub, and that's what we'll do. So they do. They stage this. He had a bike in the back of his van, oddly enough, and they used the bike and the bear. They lay the bear down. They have the bike next to it, and, yeah, they make it look like it was a bicycle bearicide.
The roadkill thing is just beyond my realm. I drive by, I weep, especially if it's a deer. And then I hope nobody got injured.
You're a soft heart. You care?
Well, I've also hit a deer. And
you
sadly,
hit Bambi?
I did. And killed when I was on early morning on my way to a live shot when I was working for KSL 5 TV. And I had to go home and go to bed for the whole day. I was really, really upset. It really shook me. But it happens a lot here. The roadkill thing is just so out of, that's just not my thing. But you said there's some laws.
There are some laws. And I get kind of the ooh factor. It's kind of gross. We've all seen some pretty gross roadkill. But I actually have no problem with this. Like and Utah has some laws in place. If you hit an animal, if you hit like a deer or an elk, you can harvest it. You have to touch base with like Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. You have to like get a donation slip or something. But you can harvest that. And if you're not squeamish, then why should I be squeamish for you?
Oh, 801-575-TALK. Hi, John. How's Ogden this morning? Do you guys, hopefully smoky skies cleared out for you this weekend?
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful day.
Good.
Hot, but beautiful. So,
What do you think about the roadkill situation and Robert F. Kennedy and the baby bear cub in Central Park?
just what a strange time we live in politically, to where presidential candidates are talking about picking up roadkill on the side of the road and placing it places. They're talking about Hannibal Lecter and being electrocuted by batteries. You know, what happened to the times where it wasn't a joke, where these presidential candidates actually are thinking of policies for the future, how they better our country, what they do to, you know, expand freedoms for justice. I mean, it's just one big clown show right now, and it's just disturbing to me how much I miss the days of George Bush and the times when politics were serious and not a big game show.
Thanks
but
for
Rod, Kennedy's got to go. He's got to be done.
That's a deal breaker
Thanks,
for you.
John.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Rob in Sarasota Springs. What do you think, Rob?
Hey, I eat roadkill.
Stop it. Are you serious? You've done this?
Many times. Many times. I come from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan originally, and from 16 to age 30, I think I've hit at least 13 deer, and not intentionally at all. But if you're going to wreck my car, I'm going to eat you.
Okay.
And it's wonderful protein.
Rob. Okay.
Wait, you've hit 13 deer?
I think they call that targeting at some point.
Not at all. If you drive down the road in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, there is green grass on each side of the road. Drive there at night. They even have deer whistles that they'll put on your bumper to try to make noise to avoid these deer. It's impossible.
Do you have do they have a truck and a brush guard on the front? How does it not destroy your truck?
People, it does destroy your truck.
Oh, does it?
I had one pickup truck. I fixed it. I had destroyed the whole front end, and I had to call the body shop 2 weeks later and tell them to reorder all the same parts.
Oh, because you did this. So this whole idea of Harv, do you have to? I don't even know where to begin. I don't have enough time.
Well,
we got to do a documentary with you or something because
I'm a deer hunter.
Okay, so you're a deer hunter. And do you know this deer is dead for sure? Because I would be afraid of getting this thing in my car and finding out there's still life in it.
So many times the deer has been wounded, and in respect for the deer, which I have great respect for, I have put the deer down and then harvested the meat rather than let it rot on the side of the road.
And this is legal.
So
it was legal under the law?
100% legal.
Yeah.
Yes. You contact the DNR, and it's food. My goodness, there's a lot of food on a deer or an animal.
We have such little time, but do you have a limit? Like, what if it's a skunk? Is that just you're not doing that? What if it's a
I only do
pot
it if
gut? What if it's a pot gut?
If I've seen the animal pass away. So this is fresh. This is a fresh animal. I'm not going to eat rotten roadkill. But if I have a fresh animal, and sometimes they only get hit by the head, that entire deer is just as good as a deer that I've shot during deer season.
I'm fascinated, Rob.
How is it any different?
I don't think it is.
Fascinated.
Rob, I'm with you. I couldn't do it because I'm a big baby and I'm squeamish and I need my butcher to do all my butchering. I can't do it, but I respect it. And you're right. The alternative is it just rots on the side of the road, and like none of us like that either, do we? So we want more Robs in this world, in my opinion. More Robs. Rob for president.
Thanks so much for sharing. This isn't a wake-up call for me. The roadkill thing does make me squeamish, too. So straight ahead, look, we got a huge 10 o'clock hour next. We've got Daniela Rivera from KSL 5 Television bringing us up to date on this week's scheduled execution at the Utah State Prison. Also, Shane Stewart, certified financial planner, joining us in the 10 o'clock hour as well about what is happening this morning on the stock market.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. We're facing triple-digit temperatures again this week, and they may last longer than we'd hoped they would. Alex DeSmet with the National Weather Service says there's a chance the hot temperatures will last all the way to October, and the temps will approach records for daytime highs and overnight lows. A fire caused around $100,000 in damage to a school in Springville Sunday morning. Crews contained the fire to just one part of the building, so the school is salvageable in spite of the damage. It's located at 1480 North and Main Street in Springville. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A rough start to Monday morning trading on the stock markets. The Dow dropped about 1,000 points in the opening minute. ABC's Derek Dennis reports.
Analysts say the markets are reacting to developments over the weekend and last week. Goldman Sachs economists upped their risk of a U.S. recession to 25% in the next 12 months. Also a weak jobs report last week, and the Fed choosing not to cut interest rates at its recent meeting, putting off a potential cut to September when it meets again. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Now the markets at this moment, the Dow Jones average down on the day, 815 points right now. The NASDAQ is down 492. The S&P 500 down 128. And our KSL weather, it's going to be hot. Even hotter tomorrow. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour Services technician in their home. That's why most of our over 18,000 Google reviews mention our technicians by name. Another reason is our 7-step install process that we call the Any Hour Difference. It all starts with a needs analysis where you explain what you like and dislike about your current system. This helps us design and size a system that fits your comfort and efficiency preferences as well as your home's airflow requirements. As for convenience, most of our installs are completed in one day. We also have flexible, no money down financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. So if you've been thinking about getting a new air conditioner, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like to sleep under the most magnificent blanket of stars? Picnic in the middle of gorgeous Red Rock, watching Tony Award-winning plays in a grand outdoor theater. Have you ever hiked through a legendary twisted forest, gazing from spectacular cliffside vistas, overlooking miles and miles of lush forested meadows? Or you should enjoy great museums, galleries, shops, or great dining, all in a special place, combining beauty and all the fun you can imagine. Put the you back in Utah, in Cedar City, Bryan Head, packed full of things you love. Live performances during the Shakespeare Festival, spectacular campsites and cozy cabins, plus hiking, biking, and ATV trails everywhere. Or tee up for 18 holes of year-round golf at Cedar Ridge Golf Course. Or enjoy a friendly game of disc golf at Thunderbird Gardens. Plan your adventure at Cedar City, Bryan Head, and get to know the you in Utah. Details at visitcedarcity.com.
Troy, was no one going to tell me it's already August?
Summer's really flying by, huh?
It's time to lock in for some serious summer fun before it's too late.
And Bish's is prepped to make your summer finale the best part of the year during the end of summer sizzling sales event happening now.
An unforgettable end to your summer starts with epic RV deals to extend your camping season.
That's why right now Bish's RV is offering 0 payments until 2025 on approved credit.
What? All play and no pay for the rest of the year?
You know it. Plus, find low payments on every type of RV with no hidden prep fees.
Like travel trailers starting under $149 per month OAC.
And fifth wheels starting under $299 per month OAC.
Plus, get a free 1-year Fish Fix membership with every RV purchase.
Make your summer finale the best part of the year during the end of summer sizzling sales event. Only at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin.
OAC 90 days, no payments, finance plus 60 days with supplemental payment. Not all buyers will qualify. Based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 to 240 months. Stock numbers 84310, 83690, 7936278001. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
And we've got delays on Bangerter Highway eastbound as you make your way between 3200 and 2700 west. That is due to lane restrictions. Only 2 left lanes are open in the area. Traffic is moving mostly at freeway speeds on I-15 in Davis and Salt Lake counties, but we've just had a crash called out southbound I-15 in Lehigh near Main Street. Haven't seen it on cameras, not seeing delays, but you might want to use caution as emergency crews will be arriving on scene. Attention pet parents, tired of being a doorman for your furry friends? Say hello to Utah's own Pet Door Products, your ticket to convenience and freedom. Visit petdoorproducts.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry and hot again in northern Utah. A high today of 101, 103 tomorrow. Thunderstorms could bring a risk of flash flooding in the central and southern parts of the state. Right now, 88 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bobbas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. The execution of Tabor and Honey. In-depth coverage on KSL News Radio.
That execution is scheduled to happen just after midnight this Thursday, and it will be Utah's first lethal injection in nearly 25 years. And Dave and I want to make sure Dave gives the appropriate little ears warning for this.
This is quite gruesome, and the reason we're going to reference some of the heinousness of this crime is because it's important. We don't execute people here in Utah very often, and mitigating and aggravating factor is the heinousness of this crime. It wasn't just a murder, Debbie. It was a terrible torture and abuse in front of 3 children. And a few of the things, again, the little errors warning of turn down the radio and maybe podcast this later if you're interested. But he was not only murdered Claudia Ben, who was 49 years old. He did this in front of Honey's 2-year-old daughter and 3 grandchildren, while committing other crimes, including object rape, forcible sodomy, aggravated sexual assault, burglary, aggravated burglary, and aggravated child sex abuse.
Daniela Rivera of KSL5 Television, you're going to be heading to the prison later in the week as preps continue for this to happen after midnight on Thursday. But you've already been looking into what the Department of Corrections has been doing to get prepared. And I just want to make it clear, it seems as though he's exhausted all of his proceedings in court, and at this point it looks as though that this is going to move forward on Thursday.
It does appear that way. Of course, we never say never, and there's nothing. We could see a last minute another appeal, but as of this moment, the parole board has declined to commute his sentence, and a lawsuit against the state over their process, the death penalty process, was dismissed last week. So it does appear we are moving toward his execution date this week.
And one thing that is unique about this is we have a new prison, and this is where it will be carried out. What did you learn about the new prison?
Absolutely. We went to the Utah State Correctional Facility. This is the first time there will be an execution at this new facility. And as you had mentioned, Debbie, it's been nearly 25 years since we've even had a lethal injection here in Utah. So there's, as you can imagine, quite a bit of preparation going on at the new prison. It's a newly constructed execution chamber. And we've learned that there are teams actually participating in mandatory rehearsals, and that's according to policy. Department of Corrections policy calls for at least 3 rehearsals by each team. And when I talk about team, they've sectioned this off into what certain people will do. So there is a transport team. That team is to take Mr. Honey from an observation cell to the execution chamber. There is a tie-down team. That team is supposed to secure him on the gurney in the chamber. And then there's a 6-person in-chamber team. So that includes the director of prison operations, the prison warden will both be there, a 2-person IV team. They are tasked with finding a vein and establishing IV lines. And then there are 2 others who are executioners, the execution team. They will be overseeing what's going on, and ultimately they will be pushing the lethal drugs.
I think what a lot of people might not know about the executions is that there are witnesses outside of the people who are in the room, and they usually stand behind a glass, and they actually witness the execution. What did you learn about that when you were out at the prison?
Yes, so there's a viewing gallery, and it might seem kind of morbid, but there will be witnesses. There will be government witnesses. There will be journalist witnesses. A journalist from one of our partner platforms will be a witness. When you think about it, this is the most power we ever give our government to exert is to take a life. And so it's important as journalists for us to bear witness in the process and watch how it is carried out. There will also be witnesses, relatives of the deceased victim, up to 5 people. And Mr. Honey is able to choose up to 5 people that he would like to be there. That can be friends, family, religious leaders.
Is there an opportunity for him to give any final words or statements?
Yes, he will be given 2 minutes to make a final statement, and it is exactly 2 minutes. So if someone continues talking, they are to just move forward. There's not an opportunity to wrap up. It's a very specified amount of time. Also in policy, if there were to be foul language in that statement, they would just simply move forward. But he has 2 minutes, essentially, to say whatever he wants to say before they proceed.
So there are some caveats of what he can say in his final statement?
Yes, it has to be under 2 minutes.
Okay.
And if there is foul language, the statement will end. They will move forward with the process.
You are going to be out there then, but you're not going to be a witness.
I'm not a witness. I have witnessed a lethal injection in the
Oh, you
past
have?
in Texas. I witnessed and reported on it there in 2015. I won't be witnessing this, but I will be out at the prison participating in our coverage that evening, and we will have a journalist inside there.
What do you feel comfortable? And by the way, this is, of course, Daniela Rivera of KSL5 Television, investigative reporter. She's helping us with our coverage this week. KSL5 Television, KSL News Radio, and as you mentioned, our partner platforms involved in the coverage of the execution that is happening after midnight on Thursday. What do you feel comfortable sharing with us within reason about witnessing that execution in Texas as a journalist?
Absolutely. I will just say it was a very heavy experience, one of the heaviest in my career. The silence as we waited and we listened to breathing noises and waited for them to call time of death. I happened to be standing next to the wife of the condemned in that situation, and I would just describe it as the heaviest feeling, the heaviest air I've ever stood in. It's a very serious thing to witness, and of course we think about the people, the victims in these cases, and the horrible ways that they died. And this is what our justice system calls for. This is what a jury decided on, and our system has said at this point to move forward. But that doesn't take away from the heaviness of being involved in this process in our justice system. And I think there's a lot of people in Utah who probably have very nuanced feelings on the death penalty. It's such a complicated thing to consider.
So in that observation room, does it look like you will have both victims' families and the condemned families? Will they be, or whoever the supporters are, will they be in the same room?
It appears to me that they will be separated. And so I believe they'll be brought in at different times. Each group will have their own escort. And there's the one I was a part of in Texas, and our policy here is modeled after that state, was to keep separation between victim witnesses and witnesses for the condemned.
Daniela Rivera, thank you so much. This is certainly going to be quite the week, and we appreciate that you are helping us with our coverage. And we will continue to follow any developments. If we do hear, of course, of anything in the court system, I know you'll let us know, and our team of reporters and producers are keeping watch as well. Daniela Rivera of KSL5 Television. Straight ahead, we're also going to talk about the stock market. We've had a major sell-off happening. It started last week, late in the week. It's happening again this morning. Dave, do we have a check on where the market's at real quick? We're going to look that up. Last we checked, it was down almost 1,100 points. The Dow was down almost 1,100 points. I know the NASDAQ was down.
Down 800 points right now.
Oh, it's starting to recover. Okay, but I think there's a lot of people who are really squeamish right now about what's going on in the stock market. So let's get certified financial planner Shane Stewart to join us on the line and walk us through it next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
I think a lot of us have struggled with our weight over the years, and I certainly have for decades. It was hard being a young dad and making sure that you're eating and exercising. So that's why I reached out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss, because they told me they had a secret where I could lose a pound of fat a day. And I thought, oh, please, let that be true. And sure enough, that's exactly what they delivered. In 60 days, I lost 57 pounds. It was incredible to see those results, and I feel great. I had to change my wardrobe because all my clothes were too big. But if you're interested in losing some weight and seeing some big results, Salt Lake City Fat Loss has been fantastic for me. slcfatloss.com is the website, and if you use my name, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. All you have to do is go to slcfatloss.com.
It's been a crazy summer.
The shooter managed to get onto a roof.
Biden has already endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris.
It's a hot weather stretch.
The Olympics are coming back to Utah.
And no hint of slowing down. Tim and Amanda get you caught up on what happened overnight from 5 to 9. Dave and Debbie and Boyd Matheson take a deep dive on the day's biggest stories from 9 to 3. And Jeff Kaplan gives you his trademark minute of news for your drive home.
We have you covered
all summer
on KSL News Radio.
Hey, Utah! When it comes to guiding the growth of our state, you buzzed in with your comments, and we listened to what you had to say. Your feedback on the future of Utah's housing, water, transportation, and open space will continue to help our leaders make important policy decisions, preserving and improving our high quality of life in meaningful ways for years to come. So, thanks for speaking up. Learn more about our state's future at guidingourgrowth.utah.gov.
I have had both friends and family members that through the years have suffered from arthritis and the joint pain that comes because of it in knees and hips and in your back or anywhere else. And they've wanted to avoid surgery at all costs because of the downtime and the uncertainty of whether it would actually even bring them relief. Isn't it great to live in a time when we have these new ways to treat that pain emerging, like the cellular therapies that you've heard me talk about from QC Kinetics? They have helped people just like you every day with advanced regenerative medicine that actually accelerates your own body's healing properties, revitalizes your joints, and gets you moving again. Why give up the things you love with the people that you love? You're going to find the QC Kinetics medical professionals right now in Mill Creek, Provo, and Bountiful, and they're offering free consultations. 385-766-1987. Call them today. 385-766-1987. That's 385-766-1987.
When you're getting a new roof installed, you don't want to wonder, when are they going to be done? Or even worse, what are they doing up there? You'll never have to ask when you hire IWC Roofing, because their team of certified installers will be texting you pictures from the roof. You're going to know exactly what's going on and what you're getting for your money. And on most homes, they'll do the entire job in one day. In, out, cleaned up, and they'll even power wash your driveway just to say thank you. Now, you think you'd pay a premium for this level of service, but IWC does so many roofs. They get the material for less, and they pass the savings on to you. IWC is an Owens Corning certified platinum contractor. Of course, financing is available. Even better, their summer special, up to $2,000 off your quote. But you have to make the call. $2,000 off right now. Call IWC Roofing, 801-232-5690. That's 801-232-5690. Or go to IWCRoofingUtah.com.
Boyd Matheson. Listening to Inside Sources is a little different from just reading the headlines, because we're always going to get you into that think again moment. We have experts from around the country, across the world, and right here local to home that'll help us dive in and get past just the hype, the fluff, the fake fights, and the false choice, so we can get into the news to help you connect the dots and make the news make sense.
Join Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, it's another triple-digit day with a heat advisory for people who have to be outdoors. Second, fire damaged an elementary school in Springville over the weekend. And third, the stock markets took a steep drop when trading opened this morning. 88 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL.
Dave and Dujanovic.
So we reported earlier today that when some customers started to log on to their Schwab accounts or Fidelity accounts, they got, an error alert. We're going to be looking into that throughout the day, see if that got corrected for everybody. But with the Dow dropping the way it is, you can see why people wanted to get in and maybe move some money around.
Sell, get it out of there. I am probably so grateful that it's a little clumsy to move my money around, because I would be reactionary. I would want to sell everything.
What are the numbers? You got the ticker pulled up there, Dave.
We're down 763 points right now. So it's hovering right around 39,000. It's been over 40,000, which is an all-time high, but it's at about 39,000 right now.
Well, the all-time high did feel a little bit too good to be true. Certified financial planner with Deseret Mutual Benefit Administrator Shane Stewart live on the line with us. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I was getting a little worried earlier in the morning about the sell-off when it got, we were down more than 1,000 points on the Dow out of the gates this morning. So give us the lay of the land, Shane. What's going on? Why is the market suffering from so much drama?
It's a nice thing to wake up to on a Monday morning, isn't it?
Well, it's not the first time we've had a bad Monday on the stock market.
Exactly, that's true, and like you mentioned, that's what happens as we go. Oh no, I've seen this before. It's going down, and we tend to get reactionary. I would rather say it's human nature to feel reactionary. What we have to understand is we have to fight against that a little bit when it comes to being reactionary with the markets, because they do go up and down. They're designed to go up and down. What we're experiencing today is a great indicator of how neurotic the markets can be day to day. Thursday, the Fed came out and gave indication that probably going to lower rates come September. That's good news, and the markets went up. Well, go to Friday, and today the tech stocks are doing poorly, or at least not as great as they used to. Some bad earnings reports, that kind of thing. And then some talk around, did the Fed wait too long? And then all of a sudden you get markets ticking down slightly, but it's a little too soon to react to anything like that. And usually you're not supposed to react at all.
Shane Stewart is joining us right now, a financial planner, a certified financial planner. And one thing that I saw was Wharton's Jeremy Siegel called for the Fed to make an immediate emergency cut to the Fed, the interest rates. What do you make of those calls and he called for 75 points?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's easy to second guess the Fed. A sports example would be, I am an excellent quarterback from my chair.
Yes.
But when it comes to getting on the field, it's much more difficult. And it's one of those things where economists like to, take contrarian views to see if they're right. But in this case, they really have to put it in the hands of the Fed. So far, they have done an excellent job. And I think they're continuing to do a good job. You have to let them see what they can do and let it play out.
Shane, I'm just looking at this Reuters report because we were getting text messages here at Broadcast House this morning that some Schwab customers, also Fidelity customers, and now I'm also learning from this news article that it looks like Vanguard, some of them were affected. A total of maybe less than 10,000 customers between those three big investment firms just had trouble logging into their user accounts this morning. Kind of horrible timing for people who might want to start moving some money around. But like Dave said, he's glad he doesn't really have fast access to his account to start doing this because maybe the tendency is to panic and start moving money around. What are your recommendations for people right now?
Yeah, two things. You're right. That was just terrible timing for someone to insert in some of the largest institutions in the industry to not be able to get to their account.
Yeah.
It just kind of fuels the panic, right?
Yeah.
But but Dave's right. You really, when you come to investing, especially for long term, set it and forget it is a great strategy. Meaning, the ups and the downs, we don't get too reactionary when it's up, and we shouldn't get too reactionary when it's down. The reason being is when things go down, if we react, it's too late. We've already missed the boat. We'll end up selling low and buying high if we react to that. And so, whatever you put in place, or whether it's your company's glitch in their system, it's nice to not be able to go in and do something dumb.
Shane, can you give us an idea which accounts I can manipulate or sell, so to speak? Does it have to be, can I touch my 401k, or can I change anything like that? Which accounts could I even move if I was determined to do so?
Yeah, well, if anybody owned any individual stock, they could certainly do that just instantly. They could just call and make trades in that respect. 401k is a little different in that there's a little bit of a lag. You make a change one day, it doesn't take effect till the next day. Again, another case in point where it's maybe a little late. What we found is if you miss, and so 401ks are probably the things that most people have a chance to manipulate, and it's probably the worst account to try to move money around on a regular basis. It's just not designed for that. It's designed for the long term. we could have we could be talking like this tomorrow. Markets are way up. It just happens that way. Usually after some big down days, we get some big up days. And if you've moved your money out, you missed out on the up part.
What's a good mix for people my age, Shane?
In their
I'm
20s?
not asking for
in their 20s.
Yes.
Good call. Smart.
Well, I think it's probably conventional wisdom that you can take more risk when you're much younger, but you start getting up there, and you don't want to assume as much risk when you have money in the markets, particularly, like you can't move it around, and also you don't know what you're doing. So I've heard like a 60-40 is something that's reasonable, 60% in stocks, 40% in like boring investments like bonds.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually you're right on there. That's a good example. If someone is actually in their 20s, all stocks fine, and they should turn a blind eye to the bad news and just let it work.
Yeah, there'll be a few more of these in their lifetime. Yeah.
Right. If you're closer to retirement, you still should turn a little bit of a blind eye to that, but you should, to your point, not be so much in stock, maybe half in stock and half in bond in those ballparks. And as you grow into retirement, you still need stock, you still need growth, but maybe more like 40% in stock as you get into retirement. And you still need to make sure that you have it, but then turn a little bit of a blind eye to those down times because they're still going to happen through retirement. There's still up to 3 more decades or 30 years in retirement that you will have your ups and downs, just not as significant when you have 40%.
So, Shane, 1,000-point drop. I shouldn't be panicking. At what point should I look at it a little bit with more panic? Is it 2,000? Is it 3,000 or 5,000 points? At what point can I no longer be patient?
Right. There is no point where you should no longer be patient. You should always be patient with this. It gets a little more difficult when you get to those points where it's 2,000, 3,000 down overall. Remember, we just hit an all-time high, and so it's natural for it to pull back from that just a little bit. But it is a great time right now when this gets our attention to go take a look. See, am I contributing well for 401k or something like that? Am I properly diversified for my age? So this is a great time to take a look at those things, just not to be reactionary and take it all out.
Shane Stewart, thanks for joining us, certified financial planner with DMBA. And to your point, Shane, I just looked back at August this time last year, and the Dow was at 35,000. So in just a year, it's gone up 4,000 points. Mm-hmm. So I think when Shane says, if it's going to fluctuate up and down 1,000 points or 500 here and there, you got to look at the big picture. And at least in the last year, it's up 4,000.
I was just trying to remember what the Dow was at in 1985 when I graduated from high school. 13,000. No, 1,300.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that would have been incredible. Yeah, 1,300.
Sorry. Yeah. 1,300. And I graduated from high school. And now it's at 38,000. It was over 40,000 until recently. So it'll all be okay. It'll all be okay. Straight ahead, thanks, Shane, for joining us and making sure our nerves are calmed. A couple things lined up, of course, during the next half hour, but also into the 11 o'clock hour. I want to let you know Boyd is going to be joining us because there is word that we could get a decision today, an announcement today from presidential candidate Kamala Harris on who her vice presidential pick will be. Boyd's keeping an eye on that from the newsroom. He's joining us in the 11 o'clock hour. Much more straight ahead, though, next.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomis. KSL's top story this hour. Today is the deadline for counties to finish their recounts in the primary election contest between Colby Jenkins and Congresswoman Celeste Malloy. All the counties are supposed to report their results by the end of the day today. Then Utah's lieutenant governor will certify the results tomorrow. Colby Jenkins hoping for a different outcome after falling to Representative Malloy by just 214 votes. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. A decade-old mystery in New York suddenly solved by presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In a newly released video, he recounts to Roseanne Barr the story of how he left the carcass of a dead bear cub in Central Park posed near an old bicycle to suggest that perhaps it had been hit by the bike. Stories coming out in the New Yorker.
The magazine asked him about a photograph that shows Kennedy posing with the dead bear cub, his fingers inside its bloody mouth, and Kennedy responded, quote, "Maybe that's where I got my brainworm."
Dramatic drop today in the stock markets. Dow down 763 points. The Nasdaq is down 368. The S&P 500 right now down 105. And our KSL weather looks like it's going to be hot, real hot, for a couple of days yet. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Finish out the summer with Zero Res. Now that the kids are going back to school, it's time to freshen up those floors. The cleaning experts at Zero Res will provide a safe and effective cleaning for your carpets, upholstery, tile, air ducts, and more. Just check out Zero Res's 4.9-star Google rating. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $99, plus 20% off your air duct cleaning. Book online 24/7 at ZeroRes.com and mention that you want the KSL special. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean. Zero Res.
Trail mix, beef jerky, mixing all the soda flavors at the gas station soda machine. Snacks are better on the road. The gas is better when it's top tier. And the pit stop is better when there's a dinosaur there. Love the filler moments at a Sinclair gas station near you with DinoCare, our top tier gasoline. Some sweet and salty snacks for the commute and a big green dino for the memories. Find a gas station near you at sinclairoil.com. Sinclair, fill up your life.
Tim and Amanda.
One of the things I love about radio is that we are all hearing it at the same time. One of the differences between that and just scrolling on your phone is that I don't know when that story was posted. Maybe an hour ago, maybe 3 days ago.
To your point about who wrote it, where did it come from, and is it dated information, our hope every day is that we can provide a more broad spectrum of information on a single topic that you can then take and make decisions on your own.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Things are moving along pretty well all across the Wasatch Front. Right now, we don't have any delays on I-15 throughout Utah, Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber counties. You'll also have good flow on the east and west side belt routes around the Salt Lake Valley. Where we do have a bit of congestion, though, is Bangerter Highway eastbound as you approach 2700 West. That is due to lane restrictions. Only 2 left lanes are available. Fill up your bucket list in Box Elder County. History, recreation, wildlife, excellent dining, and shopping await you. Learn more at visitboxeldercounty.com. Sponsored by Utah Office of Tourism. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry and hot in northern Utah. High today 101, 103 tomorrow. Thunderstorms could bring a risk of flash flooding to the central and southern parts of the state. And right now, 88 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
It's been a heavy news week. It's Monday. We've got a lot of news going on. We know we're watching the results in the 2nd Congressional District in Utah. Those results should be in by late this afternoon, about 5 o'clock. We were talking just a few moments ago with Daniela Rivera of KSL 5 Television about the scheduled execution later this week here in Utah. We will be continuing our coverage on that. The stock market is dropping. We just talked to certified financial planner Shane Stewart about that, telling us not to panic. Who knows? It could turn around tomorrow. So it is time on a Monday that Dave and I just take a little bit of a breath and we talk about the very all-important debate. We'll probably end up in a huge argument over this, about shorts in the workplace. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was shocked this morning as I was reading the headlines that this story did not come to me via Vogue magazine. This is from the Wall Street Journal. They took a deep dive on shorts in the workplace.
It's because we are sick and tired of cooking at work. We are just roasting at work. Maybe I would have a little bit more understanding if air conditioning didn't exist, but we have pretty good AC here. So where do you land on the whole shorts at work thing?
Nope.
No shorts.
Look, I wore shorts last week to the parade.
You felt
and
so
we were
edgy.
on the air. I did. I took myself over to Costco the day before, and I bought myself a pair of shorts. I don't even know. Chinos is what they're called, I think. That's the name of the short. And I wore them on the parade. Look, it was at like 110 degrees in the booth. I know we had a fan going, and we were there, of course, to cover the Olympic announcement. But it was a toasty day, and Caitlin and I, our producer, we walked over there, and it was a mile, and we walked back uphill both ways. I'm not a fan of shorts in the newsroom. I mean, I'm not a fan of shorts in the office, period. How about you?
Okay, so I was a photographer, and we were out carrying, 30, 40 pounds of gear out in that heat, and I would wear shorts occasionally. Not all the time, but I would wear shorts, and it was absolutely crucial. I think I would have melted
What
otherwise.
if you got sent, because when you're a news photographer, you never know where you're going to end up. It's one thing if you get sent to a car accident, on I-15, and
True.
it's much different if you get sent to a sentencing in court, for example. I mean, sometimes you'll know ahead of time if you're going to go to that, but you get my point. Or you get there
Interviewing
and they say,
the governor? Yeah, it's awkward.
hey, the president's coming. You want to take
Governor
this?
Olene Walker.
You get it.
And I was in that situation. I'm rolling in like a T-shirt and some shorts because it's 112 degrees outside.
You looked unprofessional.
Yeah, I totally looked unprofessional.
What kind of shorts were they?
I mean,
Don't tell me they were basketball shorts, please. I cannot stand.
No.
They cannot stand. I cannot stand.
Probably cargo shorts, though.
Cargo shorts. How'd you feel?
I felt out of place. Yeah, and I typically, I wouldn't say typically. I would occasionally carry a change of clothes just in case something happened, or if I went from a fire to something, and I would have a change of clothes. I did not in that situation, and I did. I felt out of place. It felt unprofessional.
Did you not have time to swing into a Target or a Walmart?
Have you ever met a news photographer? No.
I dated one. I know exactly what your vans look like, where all the McDonald's wrappers hide, and I know when you open the side of the van door, all of the heart attacks in the sack fly out. I know exactly your kind, Dave.
But when you have a physically demanding job, there's a certain amount of leeway that you get, no question.
I understand.
But I will say this: there was no question. I felt uncomfortable, and I don't think it was just the fact that society expects us to dress a certain way, but I did. I felt slovenly.
There's times I've worn certain outfits to work that I'm like, oh, I regret wearing this for the story that I was sent on, and it's different for everybody. Some people have have jobs that are pretty consistent, so you know what your day's going to hold. But doesn't it kind of stink when you come to work in shorts, thinking the day is just easy breezy, no meetings on the calendar, and then the CEO shows up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh. So according to the Wall Street Journal, we're talking about. I know we're having a little fun. Shorts in the workplace. This is a real debate, though. I think it's Wall Street Journal, when they start weighing into things, I'm like, this is obviously a major national discussion, maybe even international. They said the number of U.S. hiring managers who've said that having dress code guidelines is important. So these are people that do the hiring, has dropped. It's down like almost 20%. It's dropped to 31%. Think it's important. Down from 49% 5 years ago. You know what was, go back 5 years ago, it was 2019, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's pre-pandemic.
It changed everything.
It did.
Yeah, remote working from home.
You were working in your PJs.
Yeah.
Right. So I think what's happened is that we went the PJ route for a lot of folks. I know that's what Dave was broadcasting in from his mom. I think the first day, didn't you show up? Just for those of us that don't know, Dave was the one that went running out of the building.
I got sent home. Okay. Yeah.
When we decided
months.
to socially distance, remember that phrase, socially distance, when we were all pushing grocery carts the same direction and standing on dots. And Dave got sent home, and we're like, it'll only be 2 weeks. Bye.
See you guys in a little bit. Year and a half later.
The first day, so we were on like a FaceTime call for the show, so we could see each other. And you showed up in a suit and a tie.
Yeah. I had a shirt and tie. I dressed like I do every other day.
And then
day 2, it was straight up pajama pants.
Where are those?
Like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing?
Where are those? Honey, what did I do with those cargo shorts I wore to interview Governor Walker back in the day? I think I'm going to start wearing those again.
It was comfy. There's no getting around. It was comfy. And did it affect the way I do my job? Absolutely not. It in no way did
better.
wearing a shirt and tie on day 1 and pajama pants on day 2, like, no one heard an ounce of difference. So should it matter?
So more than 1,000 U.S. adults say sticking to a dress code is important. So that was a survey. So a third in that survey. I don't know if this number doesn't mean anything to me. 1,000 U.S. adults. How many did they survey? Anyway, a third of the workers in that survey said sticking to a dress code was important. So, and that's down from 2/3 who said that 5 years ago. So that's a pretty significant drop. So not only are hiring managers saying it's less important, but also workers are saying it's less important to stick to a dress code.
See, and I think we're giving ourselves too much of a pass. I will tell you, I never made that mistake again. I never showed up to interview a governor in cargo shorts and a T-shirt again.
I just can't
I think I literally came from like a house fire or something. It was like, hey, meet Brett Huntsaker up at the Capitol. We're going to interview the governor. I'm like, are you serious?
What was Brent's reaction when you showed up?
Oh, Brent's the nicest human alive. Yeah,
he is cool.
He gets it. Like, listen, we do carry like 40 pounds of gear. I had tripod, camera,
I know.
light kit.
I get it.
So you will melt down if you are dressed, in a shirt and a tie. So it's some blue collar work.
There's some jobs that would. So thumbs up or thumbs down to shorts in the office, in the workplace. And we're not talking if you're socially distanced at home and nobody knows what you have on, below the belt. It doesn't count. Thumbs up or thumbs down to shorts when you are actually physically at the office. 801-575-TALK. We're going to take your live calls. Dave is raising his hand.
Only if you can legitimately justify it. Like the only way you can wear shorts or a T-shirt or something, if you're literally gonna melt and you have to wear it, if it's just because you like wearing shorts, I would say no. Does anyone disagree with?
You're wishy-washy on this.
I'm not wishy-washy. I'm immediately just a little bit farther than you.
Thumbs up or thumbs down to shorts in the workplace. 801-575-TALK. Your live calls next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Good morning. I'm the 25% off window company.
25% off?
It's our biggest discount ever.
So what happened to the 40% off you were offering a couple months ago?
Well,
nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
The Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered the baloney zone.
Resist the force of the baloney zone.
Call today.
281-8111.
Window World. Simply the best for less. And that's no baloney.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back, I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Eric Ramos, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam at Revive Men's Health, Salt Lake City. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber, and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Tim and Amanda.
One of the big differences, I think, between reading a story online and hearing it from us, Tim, is that, you and I are allowed to share a reaction. We need to be able to say, what in the world were they thinking? So that people listening will know. We feel it too. When we read a story that sounds ridiculous, we're right with you. It sounds ridiculous.
Well, we get caught up, I'm sure just like our listeners do sometimes, in death scrolling on social media. And fact-checking it on your own is tough. The great thing about tuning in every morning and starting your morning with us on KSL is you can count on the fact that when that information comes out of the radio in your direction, it comes from reliable sources.
It's already been fact-checked.
Right. And that's not always easy when you're getting it online. Finding who wrote it, when was it written, has it been updated with the current facts of the day that change sometimes minute to minute, not just day to day.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the recount in the 2nd Congressional District primary is supposed to end today. There have been a couple of glitches. Second, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. telling a story about leaving a bear carcass in Central Park as a prank. Third, stock market started the day with a sharp downturn. 88 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Talking about the Wall Street Journal article about wearing shorts in the workplace seems to be becoming more acceptable. Certainly a lot of chatter about it on social media platforms. And a lot of people, according to surveys, are in favor of, getting rid of dress codes, the more strict dress codes that we've had over the last several decades. In fact, hiring managers, according to the Wall Street Journal, say that having dress code guidelines is important. That number's actually dropped to 31%, down from 49% 5 years ago. So what do you think about shorts in the workplace? 801-575-TALK. We're going to take live calls.
And let's be honest, we're just talking about guys here, right? Like,
Okay.
women get away with wearing shorts or skirts or showing a little leg.
We haven't
right?
had short. I don't know of a lot of women who wear shorts in the workplace.
But they'll wear like a skirt,
A pencil skirt or something like that.
Yeah. So I think what is a little odd is if you're in an office environment, if a guy rolls in with shorts, you'd probably get more of a
second look.
A second look than you would if a woman walks in with shorts or in a skirt.
Okay.
I think women have a lot more freedom to dress and to maybe push the boundaries. A guy could never pull this off. Like, I could never pull this off if I was rolling in shorts.
You don't think so? We'd send you home?
There would be a comment made. I probably wouldn't be sent home, but there would be a comment.
The type of shorts not to wear, if you just read through the article, basketball shorts.
Obviously,
I think those. I'm sorry if I offend anybody. Those should be banned. Just
every Utah dad right now just flinched. We love our basketball shorts, Deb.
I know you do.
Stop bad mouthing them.
But, like, you ought to, at least before you leave the house, look in the mirror, okay?
Literally carry a basketball with you if you're going to wear basketball shorts.
The shorts that you wore to interview the governor at the time, Olene Walker.
Oh my goodness.
Cargo shorts. Those are a no. I think what the look is that you're going for is a longer short, a couple of inches above the knee, maybe right at the knee, that maybe you'd also wear for a round of golf.
Okay, some golfing shorts.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they're not jean shorts. Jean shorts are a no-no.
Hi, Mike.
Do they call those jorts?
Hey, Debbie. Hey, Dave.
It's good to talk to you. You work for FedEx, huh?
Yeah, so I would feel rather uncomfortable if I were not wearing shorts at work.
No, yeah.
Because that's just part of our style. When we got to have the doors open on the delivery vans or legs showing out.
Today is leg day. Every day is leg day.
It's always leg day.
Does the
pencil legs like mine or muscular legs? Doesn't matter. It's always leg day. That's the FedEx.
You're gonna have all the women calling in asking where your delivery route is, Mike. Come on. It says here Mike from Taylorsville. Okay, Mike from Taylorsville on my notes. So does the company provide you with shorts? Do they tell you to wear shorts?
Oh, they sure do.
Oh, awesome.
Well, we get the option of both shorts and long pants, but come on.
Right.
Leg day.
Okay, let's be honest here. Do they only come in short and extra short?
Oh, no, they come in about golf length. But if you really want to get crazy and pin them up to some Lieutenant Dangle length, then yeah, we could do that.
It's hilarious.
Mike, thank you. I appreciate it. You're right. Delivery guys, you're golden. You're set. We're getting some texts as well.
Yeah,
so if you ever want to chime in, 57500 is the text line, but give us a call, 801-575-TALK.
So I landed on the no shorts at work. But, Mike, you win. You absolutely win. No, if I'm in the office, I'm not wearing shorts to work. Text messages. Dave, let me bounce these off you. This texter at 57500 says, I think shorts are maybe in poor taste, but as someone who works in an office, I understand how important comfort is in doing good work.
Okay, I do want to address this. I've got a couple buddies that are in fashion. They sell some clothes. And I took my son in to get fitted for a suit. And he said, all right, buddy, because he's like, it's a little tight. This jacket's a little tight. And he said, okay, when women wear high heels, do you think it's because they're comfortable or do you think it's because they look awesome?
I had to stop wearing high heels.
Because they hurt.
They rip my feet apart.
Yeah, they're terrible. It's the worst possible thing you can use on your feet outside of a hammer. Yeah. Like but they look awesome.
I wear tennis shoes a lot now.
Yeah, we do.
Because they're fashionable.
But there's no getting around it. High heels look awesome. Yeah. And that's what he was saying is, listen, your jacket, your suit jacket might be a little tight, but it looks better than if it were big and baggy. And so sometimes to look good, it's not all about comfort.
That's like the Incredible Hulk look, though, right? I mean, where you're like busting through your suit coat.
Listen, well-tailored suit coat, even for a bigger guy like me, it looks better than a big baggy coat.
Oh, this person on our text line says, I work in a lab, so for safety, we have to wear pants. Yep, that makes sense. Here's another text. Wearing them at an office that is liberal with our dress code. Some nice golfing shorts and loving it. And it's not frowned upon, but not all do it. Just send me complete sentences on those text messages, folks. Help a girl out
voice
on a
to
Monday.
text is golden.
I know, right?
Don't you change voice to text.
No on shorts in the office, according to this texter. With especially low-cut tops for women, very unprofessional. And says, yes, I'm old-fashioned.
I can just speak as someone that has done some more blue-collar work, where you literally are just going to cook if you're wearing, heavy clothes and shirt and tie. I get it. There's a certain amount of practicality that has to play into this, but there is definitely a professionalism that I felt when I went in to do an interview with the governor of Utah, Olene Walker, and I got shorts on. I felt completely and totally out of my element. It felt embarrassing, but I'm like, well, what do you do?
She was the sweetest, though.
Oh, she's the nicest human.
Said anything.
No one said anything.
But behind your back once you left, I'm sure the
like those are some good-looking legs, Noriega. Good tan line.
Have you ever been talked to about your dress code?
Yeah. Once I was wearing a polo shirt, and he's like, maybe wear a tie.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've worn a tie to work.
I got talked to in the 90s about wearing pants to work.
Pants?
I was a reporter.
Dresses and skirts, that was it?
Yep. And I said, well, I don't know how in the world I was going to jump that fence yesterday as we were trying to get closer to that fire if I was wearing a skirt. So that kind of put the stop to that conversation, because it's really hard to jump fences. We had permission, too, from all the homeowners to do that. So it wasn't like I was trespassing, but we were literally hopping chain link fences. It was a fire up in Ogden many, many years ago. It was coming really close to home. So while everybody else was running away from him, we were running into the area. Thankfully, the firefighters saved the home. And I had a long pair of black pants on, and they said, maybe wear more skirts. And I said, that wouldn't work for me. No can do. Straight ahead, Boyd Matheson is on deck right now. He's walking into studio. We're going to pick his brain about the VP pick that he expects that Kamala Harris will announce. He said potentially sometime today, because then she hits the road on the campaign trail tomorrow.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour, local man being praised for using a drone to help save a family of 7 from their sinking boat on Utah Lake. Stefan Seshu told KSL TV he just wanted to kill some time wandering out there with his drone until police asked him to help them find the family.
7 people, and of which 2 were babies. Somewhere between here and the Saratoga Springs Marina, there's a family. Just go in that direction.
Took about 15 minutes to find them, but he shared the coordinates with the rescuers, and an off-duty firefighter and another boater were able to help get the family in their boat safely back to shore. He lost, though, his drone in the lake when the battery ran out. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Analysts say a down economy in Japan and a disappointing jobs report last week led to that sharp decline in the stock market this morning. Tech stocks were among the biggest losers on the day. The Dow Jones average and the NASDAQ, though, both recovered a bit from their low point this morning. In your money at this moment, 900 points down for the Dow right now. The NASDAQ down 525, the S&P 500 down 141. And our KSL weather looks like just the heat is on for the next couple of days. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Jeff Kaplan. When you're online, that's sometimes a source of fourth-hand information. Somebody does the reporting. Another website Googles, they find it, they rewrite it, and by the time you read it, you know the old game telephone. But KSL is a source of primary information. We have reporters on the street. They're out in the field finding out the details. And the difference between online and KSL News Radio, night and day.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Ricky Meese.
Pretty quiet on the Valley freeways. We did have an accident southbound I-15 near 5th East, American Fork. It was out of traffic. It's already been taken care of. We're looking at a delay-free drive on all the Valley freeways. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry and hot in northern Utah. High today of 101, 103 tomorrow. Then thunderstorms could bring a risk of flash flooding in the central and southern parts of the state. And right now, we're at 90 degrees with sunshine. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
Well, we're counting down the hours until we learn who Kamala Harris. Remember, we had a discussion last week. There's a reason why we pronounced it that way. Because somebody didn't, and it looks like he's no longer in the running for VP. But we should know in a few hours, according to Boyd, who her running mate is.
Wait, who messed it up? I was on vacation, so I miss it.
Because Kentucky governor, right? Andy Bashir.
Andy Bashir.
Yeah, you mispronounced her first name. We don't know. Have we confirmed if that's why?
No. Well,
he's
he
no
took
longer in the
he took
running?
himself out of the running
After that?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those. I'm just gonna remove myself from the consideration, so I don't have to answer that question.
Or ever pronounce her name again.
Yeah.
Just like comma and then law.
Kamala. You and I had
So
that.
simple.
You and I had that though. That back and forth when she. I don't know. It was during some sort of a Senate hearing. I had to ask you for a pronouncer on her name.
Fortunately, she did a television commercial saying it 1,000 different times. So she's like, comma. So, yeah, it always stuck with me. But Boyd Matheson is joining us right now from Inside Sources. And Vice President pick, that's the next big, step for her in her candidacy. Where's your money?
So my money's still with Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania governor, and I think we'll hear the announcement. It could be as early as late today, but it will definitely be by tomorrow morning. We know she's doing a big campaign rally starting in Philly, and then she'll be going to a lot of the other swing states on a quick hit tour with her nominee tag team partner. I'm hearing some rumblings that it could come out via video on social media coming later today, but they may try to hold it into the morning tomorrow, just to try to get a little build up and then just let it all go all at once.
Build up.
Yeah.
That's all we've been doing is building up. I mean, but maybe there's some media strategy behind that as well.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're trying to do it, and I'll tell you what my sense was they were going to move today. But remember, we've been talking. There's going to be another something happen. And I think what we're watching happen with the stock market and the jobs report and what that might mean in terms of recession, they don't want to compete with that message today. They would much rather see that play out, see if the markets kind of correct a little bit, if they can kind of tamp down some of the chatter around the recession word. Nothing is worse for a presidential campaign than being tagged with the recession word. So I think they're trying to create a little bit of space and just see how things play out today. So I think that's why they're probably slowing it down just a little bit.
I do wonder, though, it can be a little scary because you can have one bad day, but if you have a bad week, or a couple bad days strung together, then all of a sudden, eventually you're just going to have to announce, should you really be, I guess, maybe adjusting the message or depending on stuff that is so volatile?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still going by tomorrow morning. There's no changing.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll happen between sometime late this afternoon and sometime around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It will happen, and we'll
unless they lose another 1,000 points in the stock market.
And you'd said earlier when we were talking in the newsroom, Boyd, that Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, you said your money's on him. Okay, Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, all met with her in Washington D.C. yesterday.
That's right.
Just the three of them.
Just those three. They went to the Naval Observatory, which is the official residence of the vice president. So they went there, had a one-on-one meeting. Her aides are saying she hasn't made a final answer decision. So things are still, things can still keep moving along there. There's been a lot of late momentum for Governor Walz. He's kind of this folksy former high school teacher, football coach kind of guy, and has a lot of feel there. So there's some people that are kind of pushing that way. And to be honest, from the far left of the Democrat Party, there's been a lot of pushback against Josh Shapiro of being too pro-Israel and not being pro-union enough. Although, interestingly, all the unions in Pennsylvania endorsed him to be governor of Pennsylvania. So there's some interesting dynamics there at play inside of the Democrat Party. So that'll be interesting to see how does that influence the Harris campaign. Is the far left of their party going to have a major voice in whom they choose as the VP?
How much of this is picking the best candidate, or is it just picking the best candidate in a swing state?
That's a good question. It's a
Arizona,
it's a little bit of
Pennsylvania, Minnesota.
Pennsylvania. I don't think Minnesota's really in play. I think Pennsylvania has the most electoral votes, so if you're playing that math, that's an easy game to play. I think there is an interesting thing in terms of Arizona, which is a downside for Mark Kelly, among some other things. He's not a great campaigner, not great on the stump. One of his biggest challenges is because Arizona is a purple state. If he steps away from the Senate, that could cost the Democrats the control of the Senate, which is very important for the Harris ticket if they want to govern. and have a majority and try to get an agenda through. And so there's some definite calculations there. So I would say Mark Kelly's kind of sliding down. If you're doing stock up, stock down,
But probably
Kelly's
because
down.
of that.
That's a big
Yeah,
part of it.
that's a
And he's
big
just
part
not
of it.
he's just not a great campaigner. Like, he is not a warm fuzzy. He doesn't compliment.
He's an astronaut, right? I mean,
those are life and death decisions. I get that.
That's huge.
I'm not saying he wouldn't be a great vice president. I'm just saying he's not going to help the ticket a whole
I
lot.
agree.
And so there's a chemistry
make a lot of
component to
sense.
this. There's a chemistry component to this, and there's a compliment component to this in terms of what does this person bring to the table that Kamala Harris doesn't already have.
And there's an electoral count component to it as well. And Pennsylvania has a few more than Arizona.
Definitely.
How big of a deal is the VP in this race, whether you're talking about Trump's VP nominee, J.D. Vance, or Kamala Harris's VP nominee?
Historically, it's never made a difference. It just isn't a big. People don't go to the polls saying, "I want to vote for the VP today." That's usually not how Americans make their decisions. So usually, it's not huge. This year could be a little different. I think J.D. Vance came in as an idea, not as a candidate. I think former President Trump saw that. Ironically, former President Trump created the governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro. And he did that by endorsing a really bad candidate for governor in Pennsylvania. So otherwise, we would not be having this discussion about Josh Shapiro. If it were not for Trump's endorsement in the Pennsylvania governor's race 2 years ago.
Mastriano?
Okay. Yeah, really a really bad candidate. Any other Republican would have won.
Really?
In Pennsylvania in 2022. And so the irony is that the former president may have created the running mate for Kamala Harris.
Is he a strong choice?
Shapiro?
I mean, as far as the if he were to actually do the job that he's being called on to do.
Yeah, I think Shapiro is he's a great candidate. Like, he is a great on the stump. He's probably the best out of the top of the ticket and the vice presidential choice. He'd be the best of the bunch when it comes to media, when it comes to rallying a crowd, when it comes to taking shots at the other side. He can play that game and do that incredible. He's very gifted that way. He's a great speaker, great orator, really connects with people, very human that way. So I think he would be the best of the candidates in terms of that front.
And he's a former attorney general.
That's right. Yeah, that's correct. So he does have some common language and ground there with Kamala Harris and her background in that side of the business. And so there are some interesting connection points there for him as well.
But you talk about if you talk about balancing out the ticket, two attorneys. That's kind of
I guarantee the Republicans have already thought that through.
Okay, two attorneys. And then you have Tim Walz and he's, like you said, late bloomer, but former school teacher.
Yeah. So he's very he's very folksy, very down to earth. Softens a lot of the sharper edges that the vice president often gets tagged with in terms of her approach and her inability to connect with audiences or have an authenticity kind of challenge. So he definitely plays to that. He's not a well-known name, so he's not going to bring any brand recognition to the ticket.
He talks in sound bites, Boyd.
The
man talks in sound bites.
He is
well
good.
trained.
He's good at that. A lot of them are really old quips and cliches that we all heard from our high school teachers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Boyd, thank you. We will look forward to that. Yeah, expect that choice to be made here either later on today or tomorrow morning, probably by the latest. But Boyd, thanks for joining us. Inside Sources today starts at 1.
Next, we're going to go in depth on six-figure salaries, and these aren't like CEOs of companies that we're talking about. These are entry-level police officers, $108,000 a year to start. Where? We'll tell you next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
So many millions of Americans are struggling with addiction, or they have a family member that is struggling with addiction. That's why Renaissance Ranch is different. Yeah. They want to treat the entire family.
That's right. At Renaissance Ranch, they want to create healing and hope for families and family members who are, 18 years and older. You can attend these free online classes that they offer. And these are very well attended, and they're very, very helpful.
Yeah, more than 1,000 people showed up last month to these classes. They're taught from a spousal perspective, for parents, from people that have been through the recovery process. They have a women's support group and a couples recovery group.
They're faith-based and clinically proven for more than 20 years. We've talked face-to-face with Renaissance Ranch, and they really have your loved ones at heart.
Because they know when everybody's involved, when the family, the loved ones, spouse, when you're involved in the process, that research has shown that the chances of a positive outcome skyrocket when everybody's involved. It's why they offer these free online classes. Just make sure you learn more and find out how to sign up at renaissanceranch.com.
The gold medal for morning news and traffic updates. Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon from 5 to 9. Topping the podium for talk shows about Utah's most pressing stories. Dave and Dujanovic at 9 and Boyd Matheson at 1. And setting a new world record for news stories and his Minute of News, Jeff Kaplan from 3 to 7. We're ready for Salt Lake City 2034 at KSL News Radio.
To celebrate Team USA going for gold, Xfinity is offering a gold medal deal. Now, through August 11th, get our best offer yet with 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one line of unlimited mobile for just $35 a month for a year and a free 5G phone. And the action doesn't stop there. Save on some of the biggest names in streaming by adding the new Xfinity Stream Saver with Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $15 a month. Don't wait. When the Olympic Games end, so does this deal. Go to Xfinity.com/Team USA. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Get the fastest connection to Paris with Xfinity, proud partner of Team USA.
Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment tax and fees extra and subject to change. After promo, regular rates apply to internet and mobile. Stream Saver price subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Free 5G phone requires eligible trade-in. Select models only.
We're in St. George, and Jenny found a home online that she really loved.
And then we went through it with our realtor. He started pointing out things that were going to just lead us to a money pit.
We would have been in this house $50,000 or more in repairs.
With the help of our realtor, we were able to find a brand new home for $100,000 less than what we would have been paying for one that was 12 years older. We thought we were going to save money not using a realtor, but in the end, our realtor actually saved us over $150,000.
Let an experienced realtor guide you. Go to myrealtorstory.com.
So I'm a public school teacher and I'm on my feet all day long. That would be on concrete. The pain would like shoot up my heels and just increased from the bottom of my feet up. Then my back started hurting. So my husband and I were driving and I went, oh, look, there's a Good Feet store. I'm greeted by this gal named Mercy. That was a perfect name for her. And the cool thing about the Good Feet store is that you're able to try before you buy. I had free fittings. She was able to fit me with special arch supports. And so I walked around in the store. Within 30 minutes, I started sobbing because I had no pain. Well, if your feet are hurting, do something about it. You don't have to grin and bear it. You need to go to the Good Feet store and get some arch supports. I'm Deidre, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how they work for you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
911, what's your emergency? Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son.
On September 12, 1995, McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas.
There was no sign of forced entry. It was just as if McKay had walked out of his own free will.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, feels that justice was never truly served. Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, a drone hobbyist was able to spot a family on a sinking boat in the middle of Utah Lake. Second, the stock markets have recovered just a bit from a sharp downturn this morning. Third, Hurricane Debbie is soaking Florida after coming ashore this morning. 90 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
When you cannot attract people to the profession and you are trying to hire for said profession. You got to get creative, and that's what law enforcement agencies, police departments are doing all across the nation. In fact, the Wall Street Journal reporting that cities and counties across America are offering more money and perks to get people to sign on to be cops.
So often when we think about recruiting folks, we just think we can or we need to throw more money at it. And when you look at the research, it tells you people are willing to sacrifice money for other benefits. Perhaps it's a 4-day work week. Maybe you have a very good benefits or you provide daycare. There's a lot of things you can throw at recruitment. Mm-hmm. I think all too often we just think more money, more money, more money, more money.
Well, this is Wall Street Journal says there was an officer at the Plano Police Department, and he said he had some jobs to fill. So he ordered up 5 billboards in different states, one in Oklahoma and the rest were in Texas. Plano's in Texas. I think it's outside of Dallas. And there was a big number on that billboard that he put up. This is brilliant. $97,646 a year. $97,646. That was the salary. And now that number is even bigger. The starting salary there is now $108,000, over $108,000. So they are using money, Dave.
The top salary is $108, not the starting salary, right?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's see. The big bold to see. He had jobs to fill. So he ordered up 5 billboards, one in Norman, Oklahoma, and the rest in Texas with a big bold number, $97,646. That was the top salary. You're right. A police officer could earn in the wealthy Dallas suburb of Plano. But now it's at $108,000.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. That's a big number.
Yeah.
And I kind of chuckle because I think, you were married to a cop for 25 years. I'm guessing the starting salary, that would have been a game changer to think, $100,000, that's incredible.
In Salt Lake City Police Department, it looks like it's more like around $70,000 a year, according to when we just looked up for entry pay, $70,000 a year. Still That's a good way. That's a good place to start. It's a lot more than what we were starting at back in the day in the 90s. So let's get with Sergeant Betsy Bratner Smith. She's retired officer, retired sergeant. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's great to be with you.
Yeah, with the National Police Association. So I know what the National Police Association does. You do a lot of work on behalf of law enforcement officers across the United States. Are you seeing, as a National Police Association, seeing these police departments increase their starting pay to attract recruits?
We really are. And not only are a lot of them increasing their starting pay, they're paying out bonuses, everything from $5,000 to $20,000 and on up. They're offering things like take-home cars, trying to sweeten that pot because not only do we have a retention problem, cops are bailing out as soon as they can, but we're having a hard time recruiting new people to the profession.
And I was talking to a police officer one time, Betsy, and he said there's 3 kind of cops you have. You have one that is called to the work, that was always going to be a cop. Number 2, the one that likes the power. He's like, we don't like those ones. He said then there's the 3rd cop that sees it as a viable career to be able to provide for their family. And it feels like when you're addressing these salary issues and promoting those, that is who you're trying to tap into, is the folks that say, you know what, I can provide a good life with that salary.
Well, I would argue that I don't believe a third of law enforcement likes the power. That's a very tiny percentage.
It wasn't an even thing. He was just saying there's some fall into categories.
Right, and I think that's few and far between. I think if most people, I think, are like me, who get into law enforcement because they feel that calling, they feel that mission. Now, we're also very pragmatic people. We've got to be able to pay our mortgages and things like that. Back in my day, I'm going to sound really old here, but we didn't pay a lot of attention to how much money we made. Now, because the profession has been so demonized and so vilified, now police recruits, people who are looking at getting into the profession, can be a little bit more pragmatic and say, well, I want to serve my community, but you know what? I am going to look around and see who's going to pay me the most. And we are also telling people, when I say we, my husband, I also own a police training company. We travel around the country. And we're telling people who ask us, should I go into police work? We're telling them, do your research. Go to an area where they have a political structure, mayor, city council, county board, whatever that is, who is going to support law enforcement. Take a look at who the prosecutor, who the prosecutor is. Don't go to some place with woke anti-cop policies. Be picky, and I think that's what we're starting to see.
Sergeant Betsy Bratner-Smith, she's retired from law enforcement, but she's a spokesperson for the National Police Association. And you know what, though, I want to say to that, Sergeant, that policies can shift and the pendulum can swing back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband, back in the day, remember we were talking about how these can really impact law enforcement who are in the profession and their families, as well as kind of the pendulum swings kind of back and forth. I mean, after 9/11, all police officers were national heroes. And then over the years, it's just, it is a long profession. It's a long 20 or 25 years when you're in that profession. So you do have to have a lot of passion for protecting the community and making sure people are safe, because when you talk about worrying about policies and laws and things change, they might change, on you midstream. So you do, I think, have to get into this with a love for helping others. And and it is a long career. It's, because usually when you get into these jobs, these are pension-oriented jobs. I would imagine these pensions are still widely very popular and a draw. So you don't want to be leaving after 8 or 10 years because you're halfway through, right?
That's actually no longer true. A lot of the pension systems have changed, and they're more market-based and they're movable. That's one of the things that cities and counties especially have had to do, is that, because you're right, back when you were, part of a police family, you were tied to that pension and you couldn't go anywhere else. So many places now, they have changed that pension system, and it's more market-based, more 401k, 457 plan type things. And that makes it very movable. And that's why we're seeing these, for example, high pay grades and these bonuses offered, because, for example, you talked about Plano, Texas PD, where they're not necessarily just hiring brand new people out of college. They're stealing from other areas where the police officers aren't so well respected. And we're seeing that all around the country. That's why we're seeing some suburban police departments around the country are actually getting their staffing numbers up by stealing from those big blue cities where the cops are feeling very, very dejected and not very appreciated. So that part is changing. And I think law enforcement needed to make those retirement programs more movable, because we're trying to hire a generation of people who don't stay 20 or 30 years with one organization. So law enforcement has to adapt, just like any other profession.
Have a little bit more mobility. Well, thank you for joining us, Sergeant, retired Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith.
Yeah, appreciate it. Do your kids ever think about going into law enforcement?
Yeah, my son brought it up. I talked him out of it.
You did?
Yeah, I don't like, number one, the danger, obviously. I said I thought you'd be phenomenal. I worry about the danger, obviously, and I think the political climate is too dangerous for you. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a lot of anti-cop sentiment out there, and I told him I would look elsewhere.
Interesting. Has he thought about
and I love cops.
He would be thought about being a firefighter?
Everyone loves firefighters.
We'll talk about that in the break. I have a lot to say, and I could add a lot to that as well, Dave, but you're in the thick of it, raising your kids right now, and they're coming to you for a lot of career
I really want to know
advice.
your thoughts on it.
Well, maybe.
You're the expert. What are we doing next?
Yeah. What are we doing next? Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's talk about it tomorrow. I think you'll be surprised at how I feel about it. I'm just going to leave it at that.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Today is the deadline for counties to finish their recounts in the primary election contest between Colby Jenkins and Congresswoman Celeste Malloy. All the counties supposed to report their results by the end of the day today. And then Utah's Lieutenant Governor expected to certify the results tomorrow. Colby Jenkins is hoping for a different outcome after falling to Representative Malloy by just 214 votes in the initial count. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Debbie has weakened to a tropical storm after making landfall this morning over the Big Bend of Florida. Now the storm pushing inland toward Georgia and the Carolinas. And officials warn even though Debbie is weakened, the storm remains dangerous. Dennis Jones is the emergency management director for Chatham County, Georgia.
As this storm moves closer to us, it does have a significant tornado potential associated with it.
Debbie was a Category 1 hurricane, but now it's been downgraded to a tropical storm. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average down 899 points now. It started the day down more than 1,000. The NASDAQ is down 468. The S&P 500 down 132 right now. And our KSL weather, sunny and hot here in northern Utah. That's next. KSL News time, 11:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PCLaptops.com. I've been advertising with KSL Radio for decades now, and radio works. With all the clutter on social media, radio cuts through all the noise and gets directly into your customer's brain. If you're a small business and want to reach the local audience here in Salt Lake City, KSL Radio is the way to go.
If you'd like to know more about the benefits of advertising with KSL News Radio, email Stephanie Palmer at spalmer@ksl.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COIN25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COIN25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COIN25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Ricky Meese.
One small accident. This is southbound on I-215's West Belt prior to 4700 South Taylorsville. Looks like everybody is out of traffic on the shoulder. Cedar City Brian Head is full of things you love, from the Shakespeare Festival, museums, events, dining, and more. Get to know you in Utah. Plan today and visit cedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry and hot in northern Utah. High today 101, 103 tomorrow. Thunderstorms could bring a risk of flash flooding in the central and southern part of the state. And right now we're at 92 degrees. It's sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
So it is a big day today in the 2nd Congressional District Republican primary, and of course our entire team right through this afternoon, Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, will be keeping an eye on the state's election website, waiting for updates. To figure out if we have a winner, yet the deadline for all counties to be in on the recount, and as of this morning, we had 2 still outstanding in southern Utah, Iron in Washington County, is 5 p.m. today. And Dave, you've been doing some analysis on what was going on in Tooele County. Those results seem to have been they've been reported.
Yeah, there were 55 what they call adjudicated ballots. Now, if you're wondering what an adjudicated ballot is. I know it gets a little confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
Adjudicated ballots are ballots that are unclear. So if there's marks on the ballot, I think it can be all sorts of unclear marks. So if you're filling in your black dot and maybe it drifts over into the other candidate's black dot,
like the pen ran, or the coffee spilled on it,
or if there's a coffee spill or something, the computers are having a problem with that ballot. So it usually requires somebody to put some eyeballs on it. So there were 55 adjudicated ballots in Tooele County, and I don't know, about 2/3 of them went Taylor Jenkins' way. About 1/3 of them went with Celeste Malloy. So Jenkins gained about 19 votes over those 55 ballots.
And there was also what we now know, and I'm reading this from the Deseret News, appreciate their reporting, that there was some sort of an error message that was coming up in Tooele and Washington County. So those 2 counties, what we have also learned is that not all the counties use the same software system. So when you and I sat down and talked earlier today to Lanny Chapman with Salt Lake County Clerk, she gave us a phone call before 8 o'clock this morning. We were just kind of sorting through, trying to figure out what's going on. And they said, so she said they don't use that same software system. So they were able to process their ballots and got everything in. But we still have Washington County is still outstanding. And then Tooele County, it's been reported. They've reported their numbers, but both of those counties got this error message. And so they went back and they made sure everything was okay with the software. And their count should be wrapped up. It needs to be wrapped up by 5 o'clock tonight. Taylor Morgan, host of KSL at Night, partner at Morgan May Affairs, also frequent fill-in host when Dave Noriega's on vacation. I can't even be away from you for a weekend, Taylor, and we're getting you back on the line. But this error message on the software program, how concerning is that?
It is a great question, Debbie. First of all, I've missed you. I hope you had a great weekend.
Thank you. It was a nice 3-day weekend.
Dave, I hope you had a great vacation. I really enjoyed sitting in your chair a couple times last week. So with that said, look, these error messages are not anything to be concerned about or to worry about. You both really, I thought, explained it all really well. You've spent some time. You understand the details there. It is a very detailed process, and perhaps making it more complicated even. Elections are administered independently from the bottom up by 29 different county clerks, which means, as Lanny Chapman said, there can be different internal processes or tools. Of course, all of the clerks have to follow the same election laws, federal and state, but they can all do it with different software, different technology. And so these error messages are routine. It's a good thing. It comes about as part of the auditing and the checking process. And look, let's be honest, recounts happen very, very rarely in our elections. And so it's something that not all clerks have a lot of experience with. And so we are taking our time out of an abundance of caution just to make sure that we get it right.
So the software is called ES&S, and the lieutenant governor has directed the county to use different methods if they need to, including hand counting to make sure they verify the results. But we're still only talking about a handful of ballots, right? I think we're talking about maybe a little over 100 ballots that are really in question.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Very, very few ballots. We are well over 100,000 ballots total in the 2nd Congressional District Republican primary. Of course, the margin that allowed for this recount was only 214 votes. So truly every vote really does count. And so it is important that these county clerks get it right. And yeah, ES&S is one software provider. Dominion is another. So the clerks may have different ways of going about this based on what software they use, Dave. But ultimately, this is not a reason for concern or a lack of confidence among voters. In fact, I want everyone to know that the exact opposite is true. We have so many safeguards and so many checks involved with these processes that we get it right and we make sure there are no mistakes.
We are talking about the Republican primary being held back on June 25th, and now it is August 5th, and we're like, okay, but today is the last day. Is it really the last day that we'll finally have a winner?
Well, Dave, according to Utah law, per the election code that allows for a recount in the case of a very tight election, right? This doesn't happen often. We don't have any other elections in recount right now. But yes, Dave, today is the deadline, the 7-day deadline for that recount that started last Monday. That deadline is today. We will have an officially certified winner according to the clerks and the state elections office today. However, we should point out that Colby Jenkins has mentioned that he may challenge some of these election results in court still. So even though we will have an official winner declared by the state elections office, this could potentially draw out if Colby Jenkins does pursue a legal challenge.
And it could very well be in the end when the final count is made public that it may move the needle one way or the other. But we went into this recount with Celeste Malloy 214 votes ahead of challenger Colby Jenkins in the 2nd Congressional District. And as you and I discussed last week in Dave's absence, the Associated Press has reviewed elections and recounts since the year 2000, so almost 25 years worth of recounts. And they said there's been 31 recounts in statewide elections since the year 2000, and only 3 of those have changed the outcome of an election. So, I mean, 3 is, though, if you're the person who was behind when you're going into the recount and it changes
10% chance.
Yeah, so I guess that's why it certainly shows why we have a system for recounts. So, Taylor Morgan, awesome to talk to you. Thank you so much. Don't be a stranger. Next time Dave's on vacation, we'll see you again. Host of KSL at Night and also partner at Morgan May Public Affairs, live on the line with us.
Now, just to remind folks, there's 107,000 votes cast, and we're really breaking down 100. Even if Taylor Jenkins was to get every single one of those 100 votes,
It's okay.
Colby Jenkins, if he was not able to get, if he was able to get every single one of those votes, it still wouldn't change the election results of who the winner would be.
Next, we got a 10-year mystery that was solved. A dead baby bear cub. I know that's redundant. A dead baby bear cub. 10 years ago, just shows up in the middle of Central Park.
Very unusual. I've never seen a bear. I mean, I've lived in New York City all my life. I mean, I've never seen a bear.
More so,
This story just gets wilder and wilder. Straight ahead, presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the one who cracks the case. He cracked it because he did it.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Honey, hello, honey. This has to stop.
Mowing the lawn? I can't. It grows too fast.
You planted grass in our bedroom.
Yeah, the green is a great compliment to the blue walls.
You planted grass in the hall and the kitchen, too.
I know. I love grass.
Yeah, I love grass, too, but not everywhere.
Does that mean I have to get rid of the riding mower, too? She handles great down the hallway.
Mom warned me there'd be days like this.
Grass doesn't belong everywhere. So now Utah Water Savers offers an incentive plan to replace your grass with water-efficient landscaping. Earn as much as $3 for every square foot of lawn replaced. Register at utahwatersavers.com and learn what incentives are available in your area. And if you thought money didn't grow on trees, guess again.
Add trees to your project from a pre-approved list and you'll enjoy a tree bait.
Reducing water use is one of the most impactful long-term changes you can make. So start at utahwatersavers.com. utahwatersavers.com.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Nimble Fulfillment is a long-standing 3PL servicing local and national businesses. Nimble also focuses on community issues, providing support and sponsorship to local organizations. General Manager Alex Parker joins us with more.
Since opening its doors in 2005, Nimble Fulfillment has helped local and national businesses with their operational needs. From fulfillment, kitting, and assembly to customer service support, Nimble has found ways to solve logistical problems businesses face. We work with our clients to provide customized solutions as retail and e-commerce landscape continues to change. Locally, we realize the need to be a trusted partner in our community, provide support for organizations helping bring more women in the workforce, and educate our young on careers and supply chain. Nimble has been an active founding sponsor of the Silicon Slopes Women in Leadership chapter, an advocate for Tech Moms nonprofit organization in Utah, and sponsor of United Way's Salt Lake ELS Lunch and Learns. Help us take your business to the next level. Learn more about ways Nimble can help you grow at getnimble.com.
For almost 20 years, Nimble has been dedicated to helping businesses scale and helping its community. They understand the challenges of navigating the complex world of logistics and are here to help your business simplify the process. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the recount supposed to be wrapped up in Utah's 2nd Congressional District primary today. Second, Hurricane Debbie has been downgraded to a tropical storm, but it's still dropping huge amounts of rain on Florida and Georgia. And third, the stock markets have gained back some of the ground they lost after starting the day with a big drop. 92 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave loves this story more than any other story in the show, so we're gonna end the show on it today. It's a 10-year mystery in New York City, like literally in the heart of New York City. It doesn't get any more in the heart of New York City than Central Park, and it happens in 2014. They find this sad. I mean, breaks my heart. A dead bear cub. Stop it, Dave. Stop it.
It's so weird.
Just setting me up for failure. Because you're looking at me, I'm just going to bust out laughing. Because I feel bad for this baby bear. This is terrible. Okay, I just feel horrible for this bear. Okay, so let's take you back 10 years ago because the mystery got solved by presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. very recently. But here's what the scene looked like back 10 years ago.
The discovery of a black bear by a dog walker just a few feet from Central Park's main jogging and bike path today was alarming and strange, especially for New Yorkers like Helen Zokanich, who's come here almost every day for decades. How unusual is that?
Very unusual. I've never seen a bear. I mean, I've lived in New York City all my life. I mean, I've never seen a bear.
More so, I'm wondering how it got here. I've never seen a bear here before.
Dave, walk us through this.
And police were wondering the same thing. Like, how did this bear get there? Number one, it was a baby bear. It was a little bear. And
3 feet long.
Yeah, it was a small bear. It was a small, cuddly little teddy bear.
They're literally the cutest at that stage.
They are super cute. Yeah. Okay, so part of the reason why it's so strange is because if you've got a little baby bear in the middle of the park, you would think that mama bear is somewhere close.
Well, you've been to Central Park, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this place is
It's
hopping.
huge.
Yeah, and it's huge.
It's huge. It's hopping, but yeah.
There aren't bears.
Yeah, there's not bears. And if you saw a little baby bear, then you certainly wouldn't miss the big, ginormous black bear mother.
Who's
that
crying.
That is crying. Right. So they were scratching their head, and this went unsolved. They didn't know what happened to this bear because it was kind of peculiar. There was a bicycle that it looked like it had maybe hit the bear. Like the bear is sitting on top of this bicycle. So they're like, did a bike run into this bear? Was it a hit and run where they hit the bear with a bicycle and then ran away? That's what it was supposed to be.
That's called a hit and pedal.
A hit and pedal. Yeah,
it's a bike versus bear. But it was RFK Jr. who recently described exactly what happened to none other than Roseanne Barr.
Investigative journalist Roseanne Barr.
And they're sitting in her home. We just saw the video on
CNN. It had to be her home, like sitting at the dinner table, and he's just telling this story.
Camera's rolling.
And he posts it. This wasn't even posted by like some, hidden camera trick. The camera is like panning around. The camera is clearly like right in the guy's face, and he's telling this great tale about the night that he and his buddies played a prank with a dead bear.
A woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. And you can do that in New York State. You can get a bear tag for a roadkill bear.
Number one, he is absolutely right, too. I looked up this. If a bear gets hit and there's a roadkill bear, you can harvest the bear and you can get a permit for it in New York City. So what he's saying is absolutely true.
Okay, but he's saying somebody else hit.
Said somebody else hit the bear.
Did he say it was a woman in the car in front of him? I'm going to listen again. Hold on.
A woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it.
Sounds like he says a woman.
A woman in a van, yeah.
How does he know it's a woman in a van? Okay.
Don't question the story, Debbie. Just enjoy the telling.
Because when somebody's driving in front of you, it's hard to tell their gender. But okay, and so he's out, and this is a more remote area of New York. This isn't in New York City where she hits this poor baby bear.
He was driving out for a day of falconry. That was his plan. They were going to go out.
Okay.
He called it hawking.
This is starting to make sense now.
So he's going out. They're going to go do a little hawking.
Okay, and he comes upon this bear because he sees a woman in a car in front of him hit the bear, and he's going to harvest this bear.
He's going to skin it and eat it.
Okay, he's going to put it in his freezer.
Yeah.
And you can do that. That's legal. But then he has a I guess, a dinner appointment in New York City, right?
The falconry and the hawking goes long. The bear's just sitting in this, baking and rotting in his van at this point.
So sad.
This dead bear is just sitting in there while he goes out and does some hunting. And then he's like, oh, it's getting late, but I have a dinner in New York City. So he goes to a dinner in New York City, a steakhouse, and he's got his buddies there. That goes late, and he's like, okay, at this point, that bear is no longer going to be eaten by me or my family. So he and his buddies come up with this idea, and he says his buddies they'd been drinking. And this sounds like one of those ideas that comes up when you've been doing a little bit of drinking.
There have been a series of bicycle accidents in New York. They had just put in the bike lanes, and a couple of people had gotten killed, and it was every day, and people had gotten badly injured. Every day it was in the press. And so I thought, I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea. And I said, well, I had an old bike in my car that somebody had asked me to get rid of it. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike.
So me and my buddies, the weirdest thing, he's got a bike in the back of his van that he's trying to get rid of. So this is like a 2-for-1. Get rid of the bike, get rid of the bear. And they stage this and try to make it look like this bear was hit by a bike and that it died in the middle of Central Park.
You know what is so strange is he probably would have gotten away with this, right? Because
of
it's
course.
been 10 years. I don't know how focused the police were.
Who's still trying to track down this story?
Yeah. Yeah, if there's a reporter that's been assigned to keep an watch on if there's an arrest in Beargate in Central Park. Just like the story just kind of went away and now it's back. And it's presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. who has made the admission on camera that he did this.
He volunteered it.
Yeah, he volunteered it. He didn't
now, maybe
need
he
to.
caught wind that some reporter had cracked the case and he's trying to preempt them and tell the story because it is coming out of nowhere. I mean, he's talking to Roseanne Barr at her dinner table. He's recording it, and he posts it on X.
It's just so odd. And earlier in the show when we were talking about this, I brought up the whole roadkill idea. It's like, that's just not for me. When I drive by a deer, and there's been many of them, right? This last, few weeks, I've seen quite a few, actually.
You don't immediately think harvest the hide.
No, I just feel bad for the person who hit, and I feel bad for the herd because now they're down a deer, and it's sad. Anytime I see a dead animal, like I saw
you're a softie.
Saw a dead duck in the middle of the road the other day driving home, because I live out there in South Jordan. And it's like, it's like there's always one that doesn't make it across the road.
There's only a billion more.
Well, and I would feel bad if it were me. I mean, I'm drive heads up 7-Up around there because I don't want to be the one with a Canadian goose, underneath my grill. No.
But it happens. It's inevitable.
I get it.
It happens.
I hit a deer too. I didn't get out and harvest the thing. I didn't think, score.
Oh, our caller. Do we have time for? We had a caller.
Oh, Mike. Was it? No, it wasn't Mike. It was Rob. Rob from Saratoga Springs.
He's like, I used to live up in Michigan. I hit 13 deer. I harvested them every time. He's like, they were fresh, good meat.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't realize that was a thing. But listen.
Oh, here it is.
I eat roadkill.
Stop it. Are you serious? You've done this?
Oh, many times. Many times. I come from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan originally, and from 16 to age 30, I think I've hit at least 13 deer.
Crazy story. We love. Thank you, callers. We appreciate you adding your life experience and your 13 killed deer up in Michigan. Great story.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL